Such a strong centre square group for Sydney to start the game.
Hayden McLean goes to full forward for the Swans with five top-up players.
And Billy McCormack with that match-up, it looks like.
No, it's Williams who's gone to McLean there, just a kick out from the goal square. So that's a big one for Max Williams. So we're just about set in the centre of the ground for the start of this game. It's the Frankston Dolphins against the Sydney Swans. I'm picking Frankston. Anybody else?
Frankston by a kick.
Dolphin all the way around. It's Callum Sinclair in the ruck up against Rendell. And we're just about set. The umpire slams it down. We're underway on Sunday Night Football. Sinclair gets the first touch for the Swans. Little ball out. Sinclair gets it back again. Gave it across to Logan Young, who's played for North Melbourne this season. Little kick over from Josh Guthrie, getting a chance from Coburg. He went out wide. And now the Swans can build. This was Dylan Stevens, who kicks in towards the forward pocket. And it gets away and over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I think Mick and I just noticed that Mitch Cox started on a wing.
Yes, and I couldn't help but see Josh Guthrie there. Very similar look and kicking style to his older brother at Geelong.
So boundary throw-in it is. 50 metres out from the Sydney goal. As I said, kicking to the river end. Rendell probably got that touch. Quick kick away from Freeman. Goes up to the wing, but it's been chopped off. And the mark is taken for the Swans. That is by O'Riordan. He plays on, captaining the team tonight. Kicks into the pocket, but not a good kick. And it's been marked by Cox.
So Cox got a chance to rebound off half-back. Goes for the kick wide, looking for Newman. As the ball trickles out of play. In fact, it's been called to play on it. Ahead of the whistle. Handball in board. Chance for the Swans. Lloyd back up inside 50. Up towards full forward. McLean overhead. Nearly took the mark. Thought he had it, but was fisted away from him. As the Frankston Dolphins look to clear it out of defence. First shot on goal, and the goalkeeper for Frankston marks well as they get a bit of interplay on the way out.
That's Freeman coming out with the ball there.
As it's marked by Menther on the lead, just inside his defensive 50. Goes out wide towards centre wing. Mark dropped by Caden Brown, the former Hawk. As he looks to go inside 50, tumbling up and on the ball. Mark dropped by Frankston at full back. Handball short was from Williams. Under real pressure at the moment here, the Dolphins. Ball chips out wide, should be marked by Jackson Voss and is. And
good
Frankston look to take the sting out of the game early on.
So Voss on defensive 50 for Frankston. Will bring it down towards halfback. Nicely done to Riley. And he will hold things up. So Connor Riley brings it down the wing, looking for Rendell, gets the front spot and thumped away with authority by Will Gould. And over the line for a throw-in right in front of our broadcast position.
Such a strong body, Will Gould. He's listed at 100 kilos. I think he's fined up a little bit since then, but he runs in straight lines at the footy, and that was a powerful spoil on Rendell then.
Yeah, farmer's son out of country South Australia, so he certainly built that way, unlike this farmer's son, that's for sure. Boundary throw in right in front of the broadcast. Rendell gets to the front spot, won the tap down. Newman goes through, stepped around one, gave it back to the advantage of Hiscock, who kicks up towards half forward. Oh, well read by O'Riordan. And the Swans captain takes the mark.
Looks for the ball out wide. Mark taken by McLean, who looks to wheel and go straight away. Looks for Maris, who takes the mark. Far side centre wing for the Swans, looking to reload it back inside 50, trying to get the first score of the game. Long ball towards Sinclair. Second grab, couldn't take it. Mark dropped over the top for Sydney. Is now Churgwin of Werribee. Ball spills out. Little kick off the boot, taken by Williams, who will look to get the Dolphins out of trouble. Nice chain of handballs. Out wide from Newman. Now to the wing. It's gone to Nathan Freeman, looking for Menther over the back. Will it be kept in play? Not quite. First bit of involvement for the VFL debutant Liam Reedy, but can only see it over the line for a boundary throw in. True centre wing.
Good to see Liam Reedy getting involved. He's going to have to work really hard tonight with not much height up forward. Him and Rendell are going to have to be those targets, Mick.
Yeah, definitely. And good to see Callum Sinclair pushing hard forward there on Rendell. It's going to be a feature of tonight.
So Sinclair, 44 hit-outs, 21 disposals and a goal last week he had. Ryan Clark, dispossessed, that's good work. Newman shrugs off a couple of tackles, has a bounce through traffic and chips to half forward. That was beautifully done.
Stern.
Into the hands of Stern. The Swans Academy graduate kicks inside 50. Tracking it back is Gould also there. Cracker off the ground.
That looked like it
Almost
was
kicked
going
a
through.
miracle. And the Swans were able to get back on the last line of defence. The first score of the night is Frankston's. Their first forward foray. One behind. Sydney yet to score after 4 minutes.
O'Riordan, impressive early in this game. I really like him as a player, and a beautiful kick as well as he gets the ball again.
Speak the devil, he marks and handballs out wide as the Swans look to clear, down by a point early on here at Avalon Airport Oval. Far side centre wing, Mark dropped as the ball looks to break free but won't do so. Locked in, stoppage, far side centre wing, 4.5 minutes gone. Dolphins up by a solitary point on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
What we've seen early is Frankston winning plenty of the ball in the back half, but not able to maintain it inside their forward line going forward. So there's a challenge for them already.
Sinclair wins the clearance. He got it back through the hands of Josh Guthrie. Then the kick goes towards half forward.
Logan Young.
He's from Sandy Dragons, Colin Young's son.
Young kicks up towards half forward. Arriving was McLean. He had to punch from behind. Strong tackle laid by the young Swan there in Fraser Maris. Quick kick out of defence came from the Dolphins. That was from Brolick up towards the wing. Still a chance for Frankston here, but the umpire will call for a ball up right on centre wing.
We saw last week Frankston struggled on the wings, but early in this game we're seeing Mitch Cox and Nathan Freeman both pushing hard back defensively and picking up possessions.
Sinclair wins the tap out of the rock down to Ryan Clark as the Swans look to get it moving forward again. Nice work through the middle, but it's coughed up as Newman will look to work it forward for the Dolphins. Long ball inside 50 on the lead is Mentha. It's over his head. Was he impeded? Umpire says no. As the pack of players converging over the top of the ball, it looks like the Swans have won out. Quick little chip kick to the advantage of Logan Young, who finds Caden Brand off hands. Kick across the face of goal is a calculated one. As the Swans have the ball at full back. Chipping ball is marked by Boyd. As that ball is poor, and there's a mark here for Frankston to work the ball forward through Connor Riley at left half forward. Marked just inside 50. Probably too far out to score, one would sense, as he's been called to play on. Chipping ball, it's a good one, and a real chance for Frankston to get the opening goal of the game here.
Someone forgot to tell the Swans about Frankston's set play there.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't get a chance to mention that. But tactically, early in this game, what's important to point out is that the Sydney Swans are allowing Frankston an extra player up at the stoppage, and what that is doing is giving them a free player in their defensive area, and it's either Will Gould or O'Riordan, and it's already having a strong impact in the game, albeit Cox gets a chance to put the first goal on the board.
Mitch Cox with 5 goals against the Northern Bull Ants in a star-studded performance a couple of weeks ago. Will kick from about 30 out, left of centre, angle to speak of, and he's missed to the right. So a couple of behinds early on for the Dolphins. They move to no goals, two behinds rather. Sydney yet to score, 7 minutes gone. Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
So Gould to bring it back in. He goes low and direct down the middle, and it's beautifully picked off by Austin Johnson for his first passage of play in VFL football. He read that beautifully.
Hasn't he gone back with confidence here for a guy playing his first game? We mentioned him in the pre-game. He looks like he looks confident. He's going to kick from 48, 49, but he looks like he's confident with the distance.
He started on the bench and he just ran on to get that ball.
So Johnson will kick from 50 metres out directly in front. Right on the paint. He's kicked it pretty well, but it's just fading across to the right, and another missed opportunity for the Dolphins. They are 3 behinds. Sydney yet to score on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard. Nearly 8 minutes gone.
Had a chance to join the famous first goal club.
First touch, first goal.
As Gould looks towards the far side wing, fisted into the centre as the Swans will look to capitalise. Maybe should have marked the ball, but didn't end up doing so. Nice shade of handball through the middle. Ferocious tackle from Connor Riley, and is rewarded.
He's
on the far side wing.
He's in a rich vein of form. His opening to this game's been electric.
That's the sort of stuff he was doing last week against Collingwood as well.
Handball to the middle, and that's a good mark from Caden Brand over the top, who will look to chip it out wide. Logan Young goes wider to Sam Clessy.
He's had a good start, Logan Young. He played a game for North Melbourne and played for Sydney last week. Didn't get a lot of touches. He's had a bit of the ball early. Goes
long down the line. Pack of players underneath the ball. None of them able to take the ball as it goes long from Ash Cracker. And it's fisted away towards the boundary line on this near side. Out of play for a boundary throw-in at half forward for the Dolphins.
It's his first game, and he hasn't had a possession yet, but I really like Liam Reedy's strength in the contest then. He was opposed either to Brand or Will Gould. He was out of position. And that's one thing in the limited game time we've seen is he can compete for the footy and bring it to ground, which will be great for the Frankston Smalls.
He is a big unit, that's for sure, Liam Reedy, as Sinclair had a couple of goes and missed them both. Riley, good little hand pass up. Cox He's gone. He took a little bit too long. He didn't get rid of it cleanly, said the umpire. The advantage is not coming to Sydney. It wasn't there, so Will Gould will get the free kick.
He had the shake and bake there, Mitch Cox. Got the shake, but not the bake.
Yeah, managed to get past the first one, didn't he? As Stevens marks the short ball. Number 5 draft pick a couple of years ago, Dylan Stevens, goes short to Ryan Clark. 2 Clarks in the Swans team tonight. Joshua, the other one, from the Eastern Rangers. He went back to Stevens, who was dealt with after he got rid of the ball, so it'll be a downfield free kick here. What's the umpire picking out? And it's going to be blood rule. There was a head clash too. Ryan Clark comes in and has a bit to say to Hiscox before he goes off for the blood rule. Stevens might have some blood as well. No, he signalled yes, so it's a 50-metre penalty because Stevens was dealt with after he got rid of the ball and dealt with in a head clash matter. So Hiscox comes off with the blood rule. Stevens runs to 50, has a flying shot at goal. It's swinging back. Not enough. And one behind.
You'd know him well, Brendan. He's a beautiful left foot kick. I think he's going to have a long and productive AFL career. He just accumulates, but like all left footers, they just look like natural kicks.
Yeah, once he works his way into that team, he'll be there for a long time. 1 behind Sydney, 3 behind Frankston after 10.5 minutes. Ray White, Frankston scoreboard.
Arthurson in from fullback, fisted away to the far side boundary line by Will Gould. And so a throw in.
And we spoke before the game, Frankston going with it sort of a one tall forward. What we've found is a number of their forays going forward already. They've been kicking to Mentha in a marking contest. Brody McLaughlin's got the matchup with Brand, which is a really tough matchup at times. So they're going to have to find different avenues going forward.
Sinclair down to Rendell as the ball's forward for Frankston. Mark drops. It should have been taken as the Swans look to move their way forward. Handball into the middle of the ground is for Logan Young. Looks to go wider, looking to find Keys, who picks the ball up. Handball over the top, finds Stevens. Little shake and bake, approaches 50. Handball in board. Louis Taylor goes one further on. A heap of Frankston players around the ball. The tackling pressure tells 4 Frankston players against 1 Swan. And holding the ball, free kick, well deserved.
Yeah, Sam Closey on debut just dropped that cold as soon as he was tackled there, Mick.
Yeah, Louis Taylor loves a shot on goal. Thought he was
look out. Kick was chopped off by Clark. He couldn't quite get a handle on it. The Dolphins will still clear. Do good use of the body there by O'Leary, and away he goes. Kicks up towards half forward, puts it in the path of McLaughlin, who can get a kick away. Inside forward 50 it goes. How will it bounce? It takes the off break and goes out of bounds. And good decision by the umpire, despite the protestations of Cade and Brand calling for deliberate out of bounds. That was just the bounce of the ball.
Read the ball really well there. Blake O'Leary needed to as well, because obviously, like you say, he's a small in a marking contest and able to advance it inside 50.
And a good result there for Frankston, because they did have loose defenders behind the footy, which is a real standout in this first quarter for Sydney.
Throw in taken right half forward for the Dolphins, but the Swans look to clear. It's going to go back from whence it came. Long ball inside 50. To the top of the square, off hands. The Swans can't clear. On hands and knees was Caden Brand, who's swarmed upon by multiple Dolphins, but in the end, at the top of the square, will have a stoppage almost at full forward for the Frankston Dolphins as they look to get their first goal of the game.
Really clean hands from Joe Lloyd, able to get a repeat inside 50 for Frankston.
Scoring chance here for Frankston, but O'Riordan just throws it on the boot, fires it out towards 50. That was good piece of play here by Frankston.
Johnson,
working hard. No, it's Voss, I think. And away he goes. Couldn't get it clear, but it was picked up by Newman. Was he dealt with as he kicked the ball? The umpire said no, but it came off hands. The Swans dropped the footy, and Nathan Freeman, who doesn't kick many goals, has kicked a beauty there right there, and Frankston get the first. They're 1-3-9. Sydney 1 behind, 13 minutes gone. Ray White, Frankston scoreboard.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Brendan. He doesn't kick a lot of goals, but he kicked one last week against Collingwood. He was able to get on the end of one in the goal square, and again, sorry, not Collingwood. Sydney not able to take the mark despite the superior height in the forward line and able to get it to ground Frankston and get their first goal.
Yeah, Mick, his second goal of the season and only his 11th in 52 VFL games.
And Newman with the inside 50 there was dealt with by Hayden McLean after the kick. A bit of push and shove off the ball there. But I did want to point out Liam Reedy's now had 4 marking contests where he hasn't been outmarked. He at the moment, he's the only avenue that's able to create a contest. So Sydney Swans should have their eye on that. They're going to kick to him as much as they can.
As always, the goal kicker comes off. Nathan Freeman on the interchange.
Dylan Stevens has gone down into the rooms with the trainer for Swan supporters. He didn't look like he was carrying anything, but we'll see what happens there as the ball goes to half forward. Sinclair picks it up, tumbles it into the pocket. One-on-one contest here. Trying to get clear. There was Max Ted who couldn't. The umpire calls for a ball up about 48 metres out from the Sydney goal.
We see O'Riordan leading all comers with 8 possessions, as we always expect Freeman leading the way for Frankston with 7 possessions and a goal.
Sinclair down to Newman, who was absolutely crunched. And he's not coming out of there in a hurry.
There's not a game goes by that doesn't happen in Newman. He's uncompromising in his attack on the footy, and what a good captain he is for Frankston.
Ball left half forward from the Swans. Sinclair wins it down. Was ahead of Clark, who couldn't get there as it's cleared away. Up towards Mentha for Frankston. Mark dropped in the end by Witherden. Handball over the top as O'Riordan looks to run away. Ball towards Clark, but he won't get there. Brolick will sweep up. Handball short. Found Mackay. Out wide. It will be marked by Voss. Tight to the boundary line. Goes for a short kick down the line. As Frankston looks to get numbers forward. The umpire spotted a 50. And that will take the Dolphins from centre wing right outside the 50-metre arc as they look to get their second goal of the game and really put some scoreboard pressure on the Swans.
It looked like that was movement off the... it was movement off the
stand rule. Broke the stand rule
on the mark.
So it'll be a chance on goal for the Dolphins here from a mistake by the Swans.
Yeah.
So it'll be right on 50, ever so slightly left of centre, as the Dolphins look to get their second on the board. A hop turns into a skip, into a jump, kick looks on line, and it's there! Great kick on goal, and they all get around him. It's Liam Reedy by the looks of things. And the Dolphins have got their second on board. Celebrations are jubilant. Dolphins move to 2-3-15 on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard, playing Sydney with a solitary behind.
Is it Joe Lloyd or
No,
Harry Loughnane?
Harry Loughnane that we've, as he runs back, like all defenders that kick a goal, look at the spring in his step as he runs back to his position.
And he put in a really good effort earlier after that centre bounce after Frankston kicked their first goal. Got to a couple of contests. It's good to see him rewarding his second game of VFL footy.
And I think you can't help think the Dolphins will be pleased with this start. The Swans' better players are getting their hands on the footy. The Frankston defence has held up really well early in this first quarter.
So it was Harry Loughnane who kicked his first VFL goal in his second game. So congratulations to him. Didn't have to wait too long to get on the scoreboard, and a big goal for Frankston as this bounce is called back. 14 points the margin on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard for Frankston.
7 inside 50s apiece, Frankston making the most of their opportunities.
Rendell judged that better and then stole it from Clark, Ryan Clark, and kicks it inside 50. Back with the flight of the ball. Gould has had a ripper start for the Swans.
He's uncompromising, never takes his eyes off the footy.
Chips it short, that's good. Finds Taylor. He'll go around the defensive 50-metre line for O'Riordan. Wants to go. Now he's got himself a bit of a problem. Gave the hand pass off to Brand, who's gotten rid of the long sleeves already. Must be warmer than we think out there. And the Frankston forward pressure has created the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Looks like, was that O'Leary over that far side? He looks like a small player. I think it was O'Leary putting the pressure on there, and that's a good result. Stoppage in the forward half.
So left half forward for Frankston. Rendell goes up with Sinclair. Sinclair wins it down, but couldn't make it to an advantage for his teammates. Freeman on the edge of 50, goes towards the top of the square. Going back with a fly. Gould again, unable to take this one this time. It falls to the back. Kept in play. Cracker over the top, and he can't quite get a shot on goal that he desired. Clearing kick is smothered. Ball locked in. Will it find its way out? Yes, it will. Locked in yet again, and somehow the Swans have managed to smuggle it clear just about. Clearing kick isn't a great one, and it's marked by Jackson Voss.
Left footer here. He looks like he's going back to have a shot. Maybe a few more metres out, Brendan, than the standard set play we normally see from here, but you'd expect him to back himself for a shot on goal.
No, he's definitely close enough to kick the distance here. The set play usually comes from about 15 metres further out than that, I think.
A good pressure, though. Great to see Frankston. Louis Taylor looked like he was going to clear that football easily, but the pressure in the lead up to that, there was a couple of smothers. Was it Billy McKay had one? Really good pressure to force a scrappy kick out.
We'll kick from about 30 metres out on an angle. Jackson Voss goes back, looks good off the boot, and the goal umpire barely moves. Excitement from the Frankston bench. And it is definitely merited. The Dolphins have got 3 on the board. They're 3-3-21, playing Sydney with only the solitary behind. 19.5 minutes gone, first term, the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
And hopefully club photographer Matt Walker's got a good photo of that. He's probably one of the more photogenic players in the team, Jackson Voss, with his hair.
Yes,
and again a first VFL goal in game number 4. So well done to Jackson Voss.
Absolutely, and what we're seeing is Frankston are finding avenues to goal here. We often wonder with Bailey Lambert not in the side, are they going to find a way to kick a winning score? But they're finding different avenues to goal here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so 3 unlikely avenues so far. 2 maiden goal kickers plus Nathan Freeman, who usually sets them up rather than kicks them. Bounce of the ball is pretty good in the middle. Sinclair, hits the ground hard. Rendell picks up the loose ball. Yes, that's a high fend has been picked out against Rendell to Clark. I think that was just his height. Gave it across to Taylor, who kicks into the pocket. He's looking for Tyler Watts, who plays his football here at Werribee. Hasn't had a senior game yet for the Tigers this year, but did play 3 in 2019. It's over the line.
We saw Sinclair with a huge leap and fall there and got the knee into Rendell. Rendell got the ball, and I think there was a bit of anger from the ruck contest there for Rendell and just got his opponent high.
So boundary throw in half forward for Sydney. Rendell and Sinclair. Rendell got to the front spot. A strong tackle laid by Josh Guthrie. Brought the ball to ground. Dolphins still with possession, however, and the kick goes up towards the wing. O'Riordan takes a very good mark in the front spot for the Swans.
Coming up for his 11th possession. He's leading all comers. He's going so well. I'm not sure why he can't get back into the AFL level, Brendan.
It's just the halfbacks are going so well for Sydney at the moment. There's just no room for him, but he certainly does a job when he gets the opportunity. He went short to Taylor, who kicked almost into the man on the mark, but he just got it through to Clark. Ryan Clark sets it up towards full forward. McLean was maybe held back. Umpire didn't agree. Begley back there. He's caught, and it'll be thrown in the air.
You mentioned at the start of the coverage that McLean was forward with 5 top-up players, and what we're seeing is it's either McLean or Sinclair as the target up forward. Frankston players anticipating that each time.
Ball back up, Sydney at the fall of the ball, but over the top is Josh Begley for the Dolphins. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, as no one can really get the ball out at the moment. It looks like it'll trickle over the line just about. In fact, it's held in before that can happen. And we'll have another ball up right half forward for the Swans, who are 20 points in arrears.
You mentioned Josh Begley. He's been playing on the ball early in this contest.
Yeah, using his strength in at the stoppages.
Yep.
One down by McLean. Ball still bobbling around. The umpire's picked out a free kick, and it's going the way of the Swans here. So a massive chance for them to kick their first goal of the game. It's holding the man free.
Against Brolick there, and he's pleading his argument with the umpire, but I'm yet to see any of them accept the argument and reverse the free kick.
So it's Matthew Keast with a chance to go back and kick Sydney's first.
Did kick 1 goal last week on debut as one of those NAB League top-ups for the Swans.
Donning the number 56 on his back. He goes tight to the boundary line. Will kick from about 40 out on an angle. Keast trots in and kicks it to the man on the mark. It's a shocking kick. Freeman picks up. Handball short. Will be returned to the former Saint and Magpie. Goes to Brolick, clearing kick out of the defensive 50 for the Dolphins. As it looks like it'll trickle over the boundary, and it does. Forward of centre in attacking sense for the Swans.
Jonty, great lesson there for the young players out here. Anthony Brolick didn't concede that he was out of the contest on the mark and gave it a full jump and got hands on it.
Dylan Stevens back out there after he went down to the rooms early on.
It's good to hear. Couldn't blaze away. Good to get a contest up on centre wing because Liam Reid is off the ground, so not a lot of height up forward for Frankston.
Sinclair won it down. Hand pass from Josh Guthrie over the back. Clark. Kick partially smothered off the boot of Joshua Clark. Ryan Clark had another go for the Swans, and eventually it was Taylor who went an up and under kick towards half forward. At the back, McLean's a chance. Cox got there first with pace. Fed it out looking for Max Williams. Bowled over by McLean. Little hand pass came back from Keast. Flying shot on goal from the Swans is off target to the near side. I think that was from Josh Guthrie, and one behind only for Sydney.
We're seeing Mitch Cox work incredibly hard into the defensive 50. He's playing that style you see at AFL level, like McIntosh for Richmond, who just pushes back so hard defensively, and he's providing an outlet. He must have had 3 or 4 rebound 50s already.
Sydney 2 behinds. Frankston 3-3-21 after 24 minutes on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
Taylor has the ball back, looks to dribble one in. Good work from the Swans to win possession back. Stevens takes the ball top of the square. Handball short. Should be the first goal here for the Swans. It's Clark. Snap on goal. And it's straight through the middle. Sydney on the board. They're 1-2-8 on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard, trailing the Dolphins who were 3-3-21. 24 minutes gone on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard first term.
If the ball's going to go inside forward 50 for Sydney at ground level, you couldn't get 2 more composed players than Clark and Stevens. Max Williams would be disappointed with that kick out from fullback. He tried to thread the eye of the needle. Spillage came to ground. And whenever that happens with a kick out from fullback, there's loose players everywhere. And in the end, it's a good conversion, but a fairly simple goal for Sydney to get them on the scoreboard.
And threading the eye of the needle, like we touched on, no height up the line, so had to bite off a bit of a more difficult kick. Now James Rendell's come off the ground, so it looks like Billy McCormack will have a pinch hit in the ruck late in this first quarter. 24 minutes gone, almost 25 minutes gone.
And Sinclair, the only big man for the Swans, so he's rucked unchanged in this first quarter, as has Rendell until now. So no wind advantage either way too if you're playing along at home. So no goal scoring advantage as Sinclair won another tap. Mackay dropped on the ball.
He's going to plant his feet here.
And he's in trouble and he's gone. Holding the ball is the decision. Bill McCormack, in fact, rather than Bill Mackay.
A fair decision too. He was jumped on that ball and they just piled up knowing that there was a free kick to be had.
Dylan Stevens with the free kick, gets on the left boot, drives it inside 50. Here comes McLean, jumps high, couldn't take the mark. Taylor gets through, tapped it to his own advantage. That is brilliant football from Lewis Taylor. And the Swans get 2 in a minute here at Chirnside Park. They go to 2-2-14. Frankston 3-3-21, heading towards 26 in the first quarter. Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
We had a fantastic view of that goal there from Louis Taylor. That's his DNA. That's what he's good at, both at AFL and VFL level. But he was the first to react there. He was 3 or 4 metres off that crumb. The ball went to ground, but he changed direction so efficiently. He was through the pack without too much trouble. And if you give him a chance around the body from 30 metres out, he's never going to miss.
What about the basketball tap? Basketball dribble to get it back to him. Footballs don't bounce like that.
Scotty Pendlebury would be talking about that for months, but that was fantastic ball control then by Louis Taylor.
TV Magic game of the day. As I said, it's back to 7 points. Frankston 21, Sydney 14.
Bill McCormack opposed to Callum Sinclair. Neither one could really win out as the ball goes forward for the Swans. Clearing kick on the edge of 50 as the Dolphins should clear. Hacked kick away. Swans appeal for the deliberate before it's even gone out of play.
They should not get it.
He has paid it.
That is that's an absolutely terrible decision, like most of these deliberates are.
And all the Frankston supporters and players are on the sidelines here. They're not happy about it at all.
O'Riordan chipped it short to Sam Witherden, who went across the face of goal. Here. And they are open and away. The kick forward was poor and immediately put under pressure by Mitch Cox, who sweeps on the ball, picks it up, and looks for Brolick. It won't get through to him. In fact, eventually it does. Somehow it carried all the way through to him. On the outside now for the Dolphins is Ash Cracker on the far side wing. As the kick goes down the line, smothered en route, Gould, handball over the top. As it's kicked towards Stevens, it will evade him. As Frankston regain possession. Brolick with a handball short, kick forward, dropped by Mentha. Part of the Mosquito fleet back in this week. Handball short, 1-2, back to Mentha, edge of 50, open goal square, and he's missed to the left. Mentha really should have done better there, but he has missed. Frankston moved to 3-4-22. 8 points in front of Sydney, who are 2-2-14 late in the first term on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
Shot ball back into play, finds Clark. I think the umpires will get back to that thought on that as Stevens took the mark and gave it back to Ryan Clark. Sends a kick up towards the wing. Williams over the top, knocked it away from McLean. Dolphins with the ball to send it back inside 50 from Newman. Mentha couldn't take the mark. Swans defence working hard.
Oh, well done.
Mentha just went straight through, tumbled a kick towards full forward. Gould read it well and then had it knocked out of his hands. Off the ground goes O'Leary. It'll trickle away towards the line and over for a throw in. Now, the rules, it's changed from being called deliberate to being called insufficient intent, which covers them to allow to pay those sort of decisions.
Well, the umpire, he started his run in to pay that free kick. It was melodramatic. He started the run from about 50 metres away. But you just got to adapt to that. That's
you did. Insufficient
intent,
potentially it was, but certainly not deliberate out of bounds. Mentha picked it up. It just landed in his lap. He had a flying shot at goal off one step and missed badly across the face.
Just hit the wrong part of the ball there, Mentha, but looked really good. Had clean hands early.
Well, he's actually found his mojo back as a
Yeah.
pressure forward, and that's the thing that's going to lead to him hitting the scoreboard. He got away from that, I think, for a few rounds, but that's his DNA, and he's been going well this quarter.
Caden Brand at left full back. Goes long towards the far side centre wing. Has it gone all the way out of play? It has gone out on the full. And so a chance for the Dolphins to reload back inside the attacking 50, potentially the last attacking chance of the quarter.
Reedy on the lead here, but he's going to have to double back and provide a contest.
So the lead of Liam Reedy was ignored as it goes long. It's in the direction of Liam Reedy. Off hands, and it's gone out of play again at left half forward. Inside 50 for the Frankston Dolphins, who are up by 9 at the moment.
5 players in double figures for possessions. O'Riordan with 12, Freeman, Clark, Stevens and Taylor all with 10 possessions. So the top class players are getting their hands on the footy in this first quarter.
It's the who's who out there on the ground, isn't it, at the moment, with the footy. Ball back into play. Sinclair won the tap down. Picked up for the Swans by Cooper. He had it ripped out of his grasp. A little tumble forward from O'Leary. Somehow Cracker got away from there, had a flying shot, and it was touched right on the line by Caden Brand, who saved a certain goal to Ash Cracker. The Dolphins go to 3-6-24. Sydney 2-2-14 as we tick past the half-hour mark. Ray White, Frankston scoreboard.
Look a little bit wasteful on the scoreboard when you look at those 9 shots of Frankston. It's been a little bit symptomatic of them. They need to get value for their inside 50s and shots.
Big flies. Ollie McLean dropped the mark. It's going to come straight back in. Mentha went with one hand, couldn't take the mark. Still a chance here for the Dolphins. Brolick caught, not able to get a clear possession away. O'Leary lays the tackle on the Swans player in Gould, and it'll be a ball up 45 metres out from Frankston's goal.
We'll talk a little bit more at quarter time, but the Swans with big numbers behind the footy. Frankston did well there 2-on-4 to actually get a stoppage.
Mentha over the top, looking to impart his part in the Mosquito fleet. Handball at the back. Brolick looks wider, finds Mentha. We'll have a flag shot from the boundary. Goes towards the top of the square. Big hang over the top, attempted from Cox, but he dropped the mark. Fumbled over the line in the end by Dylan Stevens, so it'll be a stoppage. Left full forward for the Dolphins in the pocket, currently up by 10 as we approach the quarter-time siren.
Good 2 or 3 minutes for Mentha without actually kicking a goal.
It is, and we've had the pleasure of watching Mitch Cox across the course of this year. There's no mark that he sees he can't go for, and that was a big fly. Needed that contest.
Ball back in. Callum Sinclair takes it out the ruck. Handball short, smothered. Flying shot on goal again, smothered. Brilliant work to keep the Frankston Dolphins at bay. Handball out. It was too hot for Skeen to run with, as the Dolphins look to get it back in. Snapped around the body towards Reedy, who's worried out of it by Will Gould. And it's out over the boundary line, just left of the left behind post.
Trying to pick out who.
Connor Riley it is.
Yeah.
Connor Riley, who's a key for Frankston, getting up, limping on his ankle. You hope it's not one of those syndesmosis things that seem to be prevalent in footy today.
For the second week in a row, Liam Hiscock has had to ditch his number 14 due to blood. He's now wearing 52 for those playing along. As the Dolphins try to break through, Newman did well, got a hand pass out. Oh, spin it before he had it, John.
Would have been wary of those players such as Stevens and Clark getting high possession numbers, Louis Taylor as well. So there might be a little more accountability. I look out in front of me, and it looks to me like Josh Guthrie's got a tagging job on Nathan Freeman in the middle of the ground.
Well, interesting to see how that one unfolds. Freeman with plenty of the ball in the first quarter as we set to go in the second term. On the Bendigo Bank match of the night. It's one down by Sinclair again. Ryan Clark with the hand pass out to Stevens. How many times have we called that? Kick inside forward 50 for the Swans. Max Williams dispossessed. Got a hand pass away. Tumbles a kick towards goal. The Swans. Oh, good effort. It just trickled into the post there from Darcy Churgwin on debut. And Sydney go to 2-3-15. Frankston 3-6-24 inside 20 seconds of the second quarter for Ray White Frankston.
Ball back in for Frankston from full back. Big fly overhead was from Max Williams as the ball is locked in for a stoppage here.
Good
inside
ball
the
security.
attacking half of Sydney.
Austin Johnson then, good ball security there in the contest.
Sinclair goes up with Rendell. Tackle from behind and Austin Johnson. Great tackle that was from Maris. At the back of the pack, Frankston back in possession through Joe Lloyd. Swans inside attacking 50 though. Snap around the body. looks online. It fades late to the left. So first score of the term is a behind to Sydney. They move to 2-4-16 against the Dolphins, who are 3-6-24. 1 minute gone. Ray White Frankston scoreboard second term.
Really well read from Gennaro Bove to intercept the handball.
But just too many handballs on that occasion for Frankston. They were just giving it to the next player who was under more pressure each time.
McLean it was who read the ball well but missed the shot as O'Riordan tries to tap it down to Guthrie, but the ball doesn't sit up for him and goes out of bounds. Not a bad name to be wearing the pink shirt for the Sydney Swans tonight, Mick O'Neill.
No, and he might be looking to put a hat on soon because he's not well presented in the hair stakes, McVeigh.
Jared McVeigh, of course, a former Swans captain and a great of the club, doing the running tonight for Sydney as the ball is booted forward by Dylan Stevens inside 50. McLean and McCormack. McCormack will track it back. He wants to keep it in. McLean stopped. And he stopped in the hope that McCormack would rush it through and give away a free kick, but Billy decided to keep it in. He was smart enough. But the umpire has paid deliberate out of bounds. Very interestingly, insufficient intent right beside the behind post.
That looked like a pure fumble to me from here.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure. I don't like the rule. I think it's a little bit too harsh.
I see Will Arthurson pointing to his knee, so maybe it dribbled off.
A knee and was given out on the full potentially.
Yeah, you'd hope to think it was that because this is a soda goal.
McLean hooks it back. He likes it. And Sydney have 3 in a row and they're back within a couple of points here at Chirnside Park. They're 3-4-22. Frankston 3-6-24. 2.5 minutes gone in the second quarter for Ray White of Frankston.
And McLean finds he's been a target a number of times going forward, and if there was a play you'd want to have with a free kick next to the goalpost, he's an expert component of that Stevie J kick around the corner. That was a simple conversion. For him, mightn't be for other players, but they get some reward for their forward work early in this second quarter. I have to point out that the middle of the ground looks incredibly hard here, and when the umpire's bouncing the ball, it is going as high as I've seen centre bounces go, and it's really making it a challenge to judge the ball for the ruckman.
Is a cricket square out there, of course, which is helping that.
It's one down by Sinclair. Stevens looks to sell the candy. Great handball out the back as the Swans look to work it forward. Forward now with O'Riordan. Ball is locked in. Skeens over the top of that for the Swans as the ball is locked in. Stoppage as the Dolphins hold a 2-point slender lead.
We saw O'Riordan charging off the square there when Sydney looked like getting control of the footy. Frankston forwards will have to be really tight on their defenders.
Here they go again. Ryan Clark runs inside 50, shoots on goal. Oh, McLean reaches to the sky and pulls down a ripper. Great mark from Hayden McLean.
He's had a great 2 minutes, Brendan, and that's what he can do, not just at this level, but we've seen him kick. I think he kicked a bag of 4 goals at AFL this year. He's got excellent craft as he kicks around the corner here.
Plays on and kicks another one, and Sydney are in front with 4 goals in a row. The Swans 4-4-28, Frankston 3-6-24. 4 minutes gone, second quarter for Ray White Frankston. And, yeah, they've come out after quarter time on a mission, haven't they, the Swans?
Yeah, and when I talk about the craft that McLean shows, what I really like is he's dangerous from any position. So he's shown over the course of this year that if he's in front, he can push back on his defender, identify the drop zone for the ball and push ahead to the footy. And on that occasion, he was behind his opponent, but he looked in the dominant position all the way through. He just picks up the flight of the ball very well. He's got a great leap, and at 197 centimetres, he always takes the ball at the highest point, and so that's always going to present problems for his opponents.
So the ball back in the middle. Swans in a purple patch at the moment, 4 in a row. The ball goes up. Sinclair wins it down, as we've seen him do so many times this evening. He gets it back to Big Ruckman with a snap kick around the body. Tumbling ball. Fisted away as they look to work it forward again through Stevens. Handball short. Out the back of the pack, Louis Taylor.
Oh, well done. Yeah,
great
good
kick.
Vision.
Handball short again as the Swans are like liquid gold at the moment to Clark. That being Josh. Outside 50, Skeen. Turns him around, up towards the top of the square. McLean's there again. He's ubiquitous at the moment, but he was unable to get there as it finds the outer side, but it'll go out of play in the left forward pocket for the Swans.
Max Williams with the spoil on McLean there. So as the free kick goes to Frankston here, I wonder if that change has been made and Williams has replaced McCormack on McLean.
Kicking in short.
Yeah, it was good. And Riley, who's come good after that knock to the ankle in the first quarter, takes the mark for Frankston.
Looks like he's going to switch the ball here. Frankston with numbers on the outer side, but Sydney will push across. They won't come out too easily with the ball, Frankston.
McCormack short to Arthurson.
They've got numbers on the wing here, but they need to split. They're giving him, they're all in one place.
Brings it out towards halfback, just over the head of Newman. It put Cracker off. Newman went back and got his own ball, gave it out to Cox. Kicks to half forward, beautiful work. O'Leary back to Mentha. He's been lively. Clever little kick off the instep and finds Reedy on 50.
He's a long kick here. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a shot in his first game.
That was a sensational set-up kick by Mitch Cox.
He thought about the pass, didn't he, Reedy, and then said, no, there's no options, so he pointed to the goals.
You don't see this too often. The man of the mark's at 49.5 metres, if not 50, and he's going back in his first game like he's got this distance covered, and I think he might, Brendan.
First touch as well for Liam Reedy.
204 centimetres, 98 kilos, listed with East Brighton. As he comes in now and kicks from 53 metres out, and it is going right to the line. Doesn't quite have the legs, and Sinclair slaps it over for a behind.
Promising play, though, from Reedy there. And you mentioned Mitch Cox there. He's just so impressive with his work rate. He's had so many critical intercepts in this game already.
4-4-28 Sydney, 3-7-25 Frankston after 7 minutes on Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
Gould brings it back in, looking for McLean, looking to take a strong mark overhead. Goes back and finds his own footy. Now with Witherden.
Oh, well
surrenders
done.
possession. Great work from Frankston. Witherden looks to go in and win the ball back, unable to do so. Locked in just outside the attacking 50 for the Dolphins.
That was Rendell at ground level. Great to see the ruckman Mumford-like there in his attack on the footy.
Rendell up again, wins it down, but to a Swans player who clears away. Looking to win the ball was McCormack as it spot fires ball over the boundary, right in front of the Swans bench.
Well,
Punch is thrown. And there may be a bit of footwork for the umpires to do.
I think he has paid the free kick. Whether it stays that way to Frankston or not, there's a fair bit going on here. It is on for love of money right here in front of us.
He's called a throw-in here. And
he's called a throw-in, has he?
Connor Riley's in the ruck.
And he's on his own. Well, he didn't nominate, so he had to be left. Rendell took it. It was grabbed straight away by Witherden, and we'll get a ball up. It's still on in front of the interchange benches here in front of us. Should have been a free kick for Frankston, I would have thought.
Probably, yeah. It just started with Bill McCormack being thrown to the ground over the boundary line.
Joshua Clark, I think it was,
Yep.
for the Swans who put him down. As we see Voss just go straight out of mid-air. He got good purchase on it too. Gained about 30 metres. O'Riordan got it back. Gave it to Witherden to Taylor. His kick not good. Oh, great tackle. Frankston were away for all money there. And the target of the kick was Logan Young. Charging through was Johnson. And Young managed to wrap him up and bring him down. Sinclair with the tap on the ball up. Tries to go again, Sinclair. Can he feed it out of there? It's not coming out. And the umpire will call for a ball up. And, yeah, there's a little bit of ill feeling. And we see a bit of it, don't we, here at Frankston Games. They don't take a backward step, the Dolphins, when they see something they don't like.
There's a free kick in the ruck contest going the way. In fact, before we get back to that, Sinclair, who's won the free kick, chip across laterally. It looks like there's a Frankston player in a little bit of trouble. As the ball goes long down the line, we'll get back to that in a moment as it's out of play. In fact, it stayed in play. Down the line, ball just about stays in. Hack off the ground, unable to work. McLean's just on the top of the square. Ball won't spill to him. Tackle on the top of the square. Will it be called holding the ball? No, it'll be a ball up, but a real chance for Sydney to extend their lead at the moment. So balled up at the top of the square. McLean wins it down. Can he find a Swans teammate? Great work from Riley with the sidestep. Handballs it short to Williams, who clears away.
Oh, good spoil, O'Riordan.
As O'Riordan spoils, the Irishman looks to go back and pick it up. Can't do so. Trickles over the boundary line. Throw in. Far side centre wing. Sydney up by 3.
A bit of salt and pepper coming into this game. Obviously a couple of scuffles here, but the attack on the footy's really picked up, and we're 10 minutes into the second quarter. The side that can actually chain together with some composure is going to have a real chance to hit the scoreboard.
Throwing far side centre wing. Tapped on. Handball from Stevens goes short. Finds number 57 for the Swans.
That was Guthrie.
Who's Guthrie? As the whistle is blown.
He's been impressive, Guthrie. Like I said earlier in the game, he looks very similar to his brother Cam Guthrie at Geelong. Same hair, same kicking style. He's had 2 centre clearances already, and they're giving him good midfield minutes here, the Swans. So he's really holding up his end of the bargain.
Ball disappeared out of place. There'll be another boundary throw in on the far side. 11 minutes gone. Swans have a 3-point lead. Sinclair will go up with Rendell. Sinclair wins it down, taps it behind him, trying to be clever. Unable to do much with it as the ball stays on that far side. Brolick over the top. Handball's over his head. Well played by Mackay to keep hold of the ball. They're moving down that far side. Frankston up towards Liam Reedy. Looks to go out of the back. Can't do so. So on the right half forward spot on the ground, the Dolphins look to go back in front for the first time in a little while.
Good to see Rendell getting involved in that chain, putting the pressure on Sinclair going the other way.
So throw in just inside 50 for the Frankston Dolphins, who are down by 3 rather. Ball back in. 1 down in the end by the Swans. Still the ball in there for Frankston. Handball short. Was he held without it? Some may have made the argue for it. It was McCormack underneath all of that, but couldn't quite get it out where he needed it to go. Over 12 minutes gone. Still, the Swans up by 3, 4-4-28 to 3-7-25 on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
Interesting that Callum Sinclair is not going into the defensive 50 for these ruck contests. He's staying on the wing to provide an extra outlet option, but maybe Reedy can take advantage here.
Well taken out of the ruck in the end by Watts. Snap on goal. Is it central? Yes, it is. The Dolphins are back in front.
Billy Mackay, on that occasion, I think it was, on his natural left boot, but he shows really good craft around the stoppages, Billy. We've had a chance to watch him in a number of games this year. For a young player, he's got a very strong build, and he's at home around the stoppages. On that occasion, a clean take and such a sweet kick on the left foot. His favoured side, as we said, and no one in the goal square for Sydney. That went straight through the middle. So
Will Mackay puts the Dolphins back in front. They hold a 3-point lead. Expert snap on goal straight through the middle. Dolphins back in front for the first time in a little while. And Sydney have got to respond again all of a sudden.
This is a good game, and what's been really interesting for Sydney is there's been a number of chains where it's Stevens, Clark and Louis Taylor chaining the ball around the stoppage. So they're getting the ball in the hands of their better users, and that's why we're seeing such a high-quality game so far.
So the Dolphins back in front by 3 points, 13 minutes into the second quarter for Ray White Frankston. Just trying to find out, there is a 23rd player playing for Frankston tonight, apparently allowed because the Swans were going to give the Medi sub James Rowbottom a game. As the ball is, we're trying to work out who it is actually. We can't find who it is. But it's
Mitch Cox high free kick there, and he milked that free kick expertly.
And he gets a 50.
And he's ahead of the man on the mark here, so
he can keep running here.
He does. He goes for home from 48 metres out and misses to the near side. So one behind to Cox. That's his second of the night. Frankston 4-7-31. Sydney 4-8-32 now. Sydney 4-4-28. 14 minutes second quarter as Brand comes away from fullback. McLean nudged under the football. That was okay. Chance here for Brolick at the base of the pack. He can't get clear.
And we can hear some of the Frankston supporters there were urging Mitch Cox to take his time with that shot on goal. You'd normally back him in from there.
Especially on the run.
In the ruck now, it's Tyler Watts having a go in the ruck, and he took it out and had a kick around the corner and only went as far as Arthurson.
So Will Arthurson marks. Has options forward of the ball. Eventually leading up at him was Mackay. Ignores him. Instead goes further ahead. Marked by Freeman, who wheels and goes. Goes long inside 50. Up towards centre half forward. Ball drops to ground. Fisted further away from goal. Swans in a bit of trouble at the moment, and it's called holding the ball. There was shouts for a sling tackle on this near side, and it's on again. Out there inside 50.
Taylor with the ball, he'll play on here, and they've got loose men.
He does exactly that.
Smart
Goes to
by
Ski,
Taylor.
who marks. Looks for the quick handball, bit of a hospital pass in there to Ryan Clark. Now back with Louis Taylor.
You see the better players waxing him.
Former
Taylor,
North Melbourne
Clark,
man again. Taylor going again. Looks to the far side wing. The Swans, they're out. Guthrie looks to go down the line. In fact, he'll be latching onto the end of this ball, Will Guthrie. Couldn't quite do too much with it. Ball goes over the top.
Clever.
As the Swans look to work it through the middle of the ground. Stevens looks to go and find it. Pushing the back potentially. Not paid by the umpire. Should be locked into the far side. It won't be getting out. Dolphins up by 4.
I know I've mentioned this a couple of times, but it's uncanny the way he moves, Guthrie. That's so similar to his brother. He did really well then in a contest against Newman, who we know is so solid in that space.
Just remembering back, the Dolphins did name 23 on Thursday night, and those 23 are playing. So as we were told, they were allowed to play 23 in this game. The Swans were going to play 23 as well, but James Rowbottom came onto the ground late this afternoon in the AFL and is not playing in this game as the ball heads down towards half forward for Sydney. Brolick got a hand pass out. Court was Hiscock. Did he drop it? The Frankston supporters said he did.
Did he have prior
and
opportunity?
it was, well, it's still been judged as illegal disposal is what the decision is.
On most occasions, I think the rule says that if the ball's knocked out immediately, you haven't had prior, it's play on.
It could be okay, yeah. So the odd one, both at this level and AFL level, they pay.
Yeah.
Not all of them, just the odd one.
And what you find at VFL footy as well, the crowds, well, on that occasion, the players play the role of the crowd in appealing for the free kick, and the Swans players all went up for the free. Whether they had an impact, I don't know, but there's a chance to convert here.
Sam Clowassy on debut from the Calder Cannons has pushed it across the face and through for one behind only. So Sydney goes to 4-5-29, Frankston 4-8-32, 17 minutes second quarter for Ray White Frankston.
Really enjoying the contest here. We're 17 minutes into the second quarter, as we said, and it's a good game, this.
Ball back and short, marked by the captain for the Dolphins tonight in Newman. Looks to go to the far side. He's overcooked it. Stevens is interested. Picks the ball up. Looks to turn around his marker. Keeps it in play. Class from Stevens. Goes to the top of the square, but it's chopped off. Expertly in the end by Joe Lloyd.
Really good work rate getting back on the goal line there, Joe Lloyd.
Yeah, he's got such good speed, Stevens, even with the footy in hand.
Yep.
The Dolphins looking to rebound through Connor Riley. Long, high ball towards no one in particular. Swan should deal with it. Over the head of Brand, who goes back and finds it. He's done really well to evade a couple of tackles. Handball in board to Gould. Evades another tackle, slips, gets back up, and he's caught this time! Caught Cole, there's no way he's getting out of this one. Chance on the back, Mentor over the top. Mark dropped, surely for out contact, not paid, out the back, and there's a goal to the Dolphins for Blake O'Leary.
It was paid, it was an advantage. O'Leary was away, so a very, very quick move by the Frankston Dolphins. Johnny Ralph Smith, they got 2 or 3 free kicks in there, all warranted, mind you, but they just did not stop. They just kept going.
That's Frankston's Mosquito fleet at its best. Josh Stern applying the tackle. Frankston able to get it quickly inside 50, and Blake O'Leary loves the celebration, able to get on the end of a goal. Great to watch, Mick.
There's no small forward worth his salt that doesn't take an advantage free kick close to goal. And O'Leary, his legs were going so quickly when he saw that ball spill free.
But a lot of credit has to go to Josh Stern applying that tackle on Will Gould.
Absolutely, and he's only in for his second, I think it's his second or third game, Josh Stern now. He's been a high goal kicker in the Sydney football competition over the last couple of years, 65 to 75 goals in 2 years. But what they're really pleased with him at Frankston is he gets to work at ground level and puts pressure on and always gives the first option. So well done to him.
He did kick 51 goals in 31 games for Sydney Uni and the Swans at NEFL level as Brolick hacked it off mid-air and it went to Cox, who took the mark.
If he switches this, they've got players. Oh,
this is dangerous. He's missed the target. He had 2 to kick to and he split the difference and gave it to Logan Young, who kicks inside 50. McLean to fly. He's got a couple to beat. Couldn't do so. Front and centre was Maris. Caught. No prior opportunity, and it'll be a ball up about 40 metres out, 35 even from the Sydney goal.
Had no prior then, and that's the right decision, which makes us question that earlier one where the ball was spilled out. But it could have been a costly turnover there from Cox.
Well, that's the difference. It didn't spill out that time, did it? McLean slaps it into the corridor. Good work by Frankston. Strong tackle laid from behind. That was by Clowassy. Loose ball. Who wants this one the most for the Dolphins? It'll be flicked out and then flicked straight back in. Tackling is strong both ways here, and the umpire's found a free kick, and it's going to the Swans.
That was sort of the out-of-zone umpire. He had a front-on view of that. I don't mind that. The prevailing umpire was stuck behind the pack. The ball was on the outer side, and the mid-zone umpire had the best look at that. Player went to ground initially, so I understand why he's paid that free kick. But what we're seeing with the conditions is a little bit of dews dropping. We saw Will Gould lose his feet before. We saw Cox there. It's very difficult to take the ball at speed, so players will need to adjust or perhaps change their footwear at half-time.
Tyler Watts it is who is lining up for the Swans. One of those Werribee lone players from 45 metres out, and he's kicked a nice goal. And Sydney cut it back to within 3 points again. Tyler Watts gets his Major, his first one of the night, his first VFL goal, and he gets it for the Swans. Sydney go to 5-5-35, Frankston 5-8-38, 21 minutes second quarter, Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
And it looks like James Rendell's going to go forward 21-minute mark of this second quarter, so Bill McCormack will have
Liam Reedy.
Liam Reedy's going to have the ruck duties. Yeah, it's Liam Reedy's going to have the ruck duties.
Yeah, so Cal Sinclair in there at 198 versus 204 centimetres. It'll be a good contest. Sydney have shown some really good skills, centre bounce skills here. Guthrie's still in there again with Stevens and Clark. They've been getting on top of Frankston out of the centre bounces in this quarter, so a crucial 7 or 8 minutes coming into half-time here.
VFL debutant in Liam Reedy will go up in the ruck against Cal Sinclair, and it will come back.
While it's coming back, guys, Rowbottom didn't actually get on the ground today as the medical sub, but he was sub because he was managed out of the senior team. So it's interesting that they asked for 23 aside to potentially play him at VFL level, and now not to do it and give Frankston that man advantage.
It doesn't make sense. We see Stevens impacting for the Swans again here.
As the ball is out the back, picked up in the end by Frankston. Ball goes to the outer side. Long ball inside 50. Over the back, over the top. Was an unrealistic attempt, surely.
Play on.
Should be play on advantage to the top of the square. And Frankston may well stuff this up. There's 2 on 1 at the top of the square, and it's rushed behind.
Just overcooked the kick.
But the ball's straight back in play. Stevens marks.
The Jew having an impact on this game, then. We saw Mitch Cox. Ordinarily, the ball would have bounced up in front of the Frankston player for an easy goal then, but skidded on.
So Stevens goes short and finds Witherden on half-back. The margin 4 points in favour of Frankston, as Witherden goes back 30 metres to Caden Brand.
He's going to kick this to,
He'll go straight back to Witherden again, so that really achieved a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
I've never understand why teams go backwards.
I have to say,
unless the switch is on. Sorry, Mick.
Watching live, Brendan, I'm so impressed with Stevens for the Sydney Swans.
He has been fantastic tonight, and he might get it again here too. It's Clark, in fact, who runs past to receive on the left, drives it inside 50. There's no one there. It's a foot race. Tracking it back is Josh Clark for the Swans. He's got Al Richards for company. Toe pokes it to his own advantage. Richards stays on the money, then keeps it in, working hard, and now providing the support is Johnson, who did well. Good work by Frankston, but unfortunately the kick is off target. O'Riordan took the mark, played on with a man on his hammer, and turned it back over again. Here go the Dolphins.
Chance.
And they are out here. If it sits up for Stern, it does. He gets onto the left boot, kicks inside 50. Beautiful pass. Taken by O'Leary. Did he play on? He does now. He's got a loose man 20 metres out directly in front, and Rendell will have the shot at goal. It was Voss through the middle, Johnny, who hit the target up beautifully on O'Leary.
And it was Newman who set Voss up, kicked it into space.
Courageous kick, John.
It was a courageous kick, allowed him to run onto it, and then obviously able to get it over the top to Blake O'Leary, who set up to Rendell. It's a good shot on goal, James Rendell.
Does not miss Rendell. He's the best set shot for goal in Frankston's team, so mark this one down.
Has kicked 3 goals, 5 this season, James Rendell. And now it's 3 goals, 6.
Don't mark.
Mark it down, you say. Commentator's curse.
Don't mark this one down, but he is a great set shot. But we can laugh about that. That's a crucial miss late in this quarter.
5-10-40 Frankston, 5-5-35 Sydney. 24 minutes gone second quarter for Ray White Frankston.
O'Riordan will bring the ball back in for the Swans. Looks to go long to this near side. Pack of players underneath it, including McLean, brought to ground. And no player can break free there.
Just to look at the leading stats winners on the ground, Clark's got 18 for Sydney and Freeman 15 for Frankston.
One down by Sinclair, who goes back and finds it. Looks at the handball short. It's turned over. Freeman turns around. High tumbling ball inside 50 for the Dolphins. And the umpire's picked out a free kick, and it's going the way of the Dolphins here. James Rendell will get a recovery shot of sorts here.
We don't need you to comment this time, Mick.
I was going to say, would you like my opinion on his set shot goal kicking?
Well, he must have missed a few this year to be at 3-6.
But I don't mind the move of Rendell up forward. Frankston have been able to compete better in the air in this second quarter. Sydney not getting the rebound 50s.
From about 40 out, it's going to pull up short.
That's poor, though.
Mark dropped, and in the end it's taken second grab by
it was
number 51
Nathan
in Nathan Cooper. But he turned the ball back over, and there's another chance for Frankston. So a poor kick from Nathan Cooper in the end, and there's a chance for the Dolphins to extend their lead right at the final bell in this quarter. It's Austin Johnson who'll get yet another chance. Tight on the boundary at right half forward.
They do say he's a good kick, but I haven't mentioned that.
So it's Johnson. Will the commentators curse survive? Johnson goes for the snap around the body. It's a really good effort, but it's just to the right. So it's an even 1-goal margin. Dolphins up by 6, 5-11, 41. Play Sydney 5-5, 35, 26 minutes gone. Second term, right at Frankston scoreboard.
Frankston are well positioned deep behind the football here, so you think Sydney are going to have to chip their way out of defence here or go for McLean.
The first chip came to Clark. The second one went to Taylor, who thought about giving it back to Clark, and then he chips it short to Guthrie, who'll give it back to Taylor by hand, and now they might have a chance to break. He heads to the outer side, does Louis Taylor. Good spot up. Mark taken for the Swans out there. That is by Maxted. Kicks down towards the wing. Turnover time. Frankston can bring it back. Dodging and weaving is Stern. Hand pass over the top. Hacked forward by Arthurson. Front spot taking a good mark for Sydney is O'Riordan. And he plays on. And the Swans have the numbers out the broadcast side. It's Brand who'll run away. Draws the man and gets over the top. It's a poor kick. It needs to sit. Sinclair had no idea where it was. That is a terrible kick, and all Hayden Brand can do is shake his head and wander back to fullback.
And we hear the Frankston supporters appealing for insufficient intent to keep the ball. There's some humour in the crowd here tonight, but well done by Jackson Voss. He hedged his bets between the two loose players by then and put a little bit more pressure on that kick then.
So boundary throw in right in front of our broadcast position.
Well done, Reedy.
He thumped it about 20 metres forward. Tracking it there for Sydney was Witherden, who's been pretty good in this first half. Caught here is Clowassy, and it'll be a ball up. 27.5 minutes gone in the second quarter. The TV Magic game of the night.
Reedy against Sinclair. Reedy wins it down. Outer side now for the Swans. Guthrie, it goes out of play. So it'll be a boundary throw in the middle of the ground here.
His kicking boot was just on the wrong side of the line when he dropped it onto his foot there, Josh Guthrie.
And we can see Louis Taylor getting to work here, showing his skills at ground level. He gets himself in the right spots and gives off by hand well, Louis Taylor.
So Sinclair and Reedy to renew acquaintances here in the ruck as we tick towards the end of the first half. Reedy front spot, unable to win it down. Possibly a hold there, but not given. Picking the ball up is Ash Cracker. Can't do much with it. Was O'Riordan caught high? If he's not caught high, then it's surely holding the ball. Neither free kick was paid, and it's locked in. Ball up, Dolphins up by 6.
We talk about this most weeks, but both sides are playing a loose wingman at the stoppages. O'Riordan's a loose guy for Sydney. He's having an impact here.
Reedy won the tap, trying to break clear, dumped in a strong tackle. I thought it was a strong tackle. The Frankston supporters thought it was a strong tackle. The umpire said it was dangerous and gave the free kick to Clowassy.
And if you thought supporters wouldn't travel out here for the neutral game, you're wrong. There's a lot of interest in this game here. Plenty of Swan supporters come here from GMHBA
on the way back from Geelong, yes. Sinclair marks the short ball.
McLean's a target long down the line here.
That's the way it goes. McLean in a one-on-one wrestle, and Max Williams with strength got rid of him. Strong tackle laid by Bove. Ooh. It came out to Clark, who had it ripped away from him by Riley. Good piece of work that. McLean tries to ferret it out of there. Can't do so. Williams in. Riley drags it through. Pack over the football. Bove at the base of it, trying to get it out. Eventually they do. That's a great little hand pass. Taylor's little kick was smothered. To half forward it goes. Well read there by Voss. Fed the handball back to Freeman. Slips over at the crucial stage. Sydney still with a chance. High contact. The umpire has eventually seen it. And it'll be a free kick to Frankston.
He had to earn that free kick. That was a front-on contact. It actually looked a bit messy from here, but luckily for Frankston, they'll get a chance to relieve the pressure here.
Jackson Voss it is with the ball.
So Voss
looks like he'll go long down the line.
Looking to clear.
Rendell.
He does go long down the line, as Mick mentioned, towards Rendell. Pack of players go up. Sinclair picks the ball up. Did he dispose of that correctly? According to the umpire, he did. O'Riordan with a quick kick forward. But it's marked in the end by Hiscock, who has changed numbers. 2:52.
Begley
now
charging
Freeman,
to the outside here. He's the free player.
Will Arthurson goes the other side. Freeman again. Long down the line. And it's chopped off by Will Gould, who looks for the boundary line and will find it.
Did so well then, Will Gould. We've spoken about his ability to compete and go back with the flight of the ball. He read that play really well. Begley was free 10 metres behind, but during the duration of the kick, he was able to run back and get the spoil out of bounds. I like Will Gould, Brendan.
Yeah, he's been very good in this first half, Gould. Another one who's been good, Colin O'Riordan, is up to 20 disposals and 9 marks in the first half. That's a huge effort for the man with the C beside his name tonight. as the Dolphins get the clearance from the outer wing, sends it towards half forward. Big fly from Maxted. Mentha's at the back, and he's a waft to the races. Runs to 49, has a shot at goal, and bounces it through right on the siren. That is a ripper for Frankston and a dagger blow right on the halftime break. Jack Mentha with a beauty, and the Dolphins will go to halftime with a 12-point advantage. They win the quarter right on that kick. There's 6:11:47 Frankston. Sydney.
12-point lead. Kicking to the right of screen.
Even 2-goal margin as Frankston go from left to right on your radio dial. The Swans from right to left as the Dolphins look to extend their 2-goal lead at the start of the second half here at Avalon Airport Oval. It'll be Callum Sinclair to go up as expected for the Swans. Bounce to the ball. It's up and it's down. We're away in the second half. Rendell looks for the quick clearance kick forward inside 50. Rushing onto it is Begley, who's been quiet in this game so far. Boyd looks to play it forward. O'Riordan again should get another possession. Quick clearance kick towards the line. Will it stay in play? The answer to that is no. It's gone out on the full.
O'Riordan picking up where he left off, though. Again, another possession.
It's driven back long inside 50 for the Dolphins. Flyers go up. None of them able to be successful. Voss, ground level, twists, turns. High ball inside. Swans camped underneath the ball. Fisted away by Gould. One he probably could have marked but didn't elect to do so. Handball short. Once again, it's snapped inside 50. Ball hits the ground. It stays in play. Boundary side. Should be locked up. In fact, no. O'Riordan fights clear. Handball short to Sinclair. He looks towards the outside, but he'll be locked up far side. Left half forward for the Dolphins as Brendan Rhodes rejoins us.
Oh, fair dinkum. I always love running before I have to go back on air. We've got to wait for here. That gives me time to catch my breath as the 4 players have to get back inside 50 at the other end of the ground. But yeah, we're set for a big second half, aren't we, guys? 12 points the margin as it still stands.
We might need to give you a moment there, Brendan.
I'm okay now. I'll catch my breath and I'm right to go as we're going to have a quick kick out of the pack for the Dolphins. Goes right towards the goal line. Oh, they ended up spoiling each other here, Sydney. Quick kick up on the air, dodging, weaving. Quick kick out of nowhere came from Frankston.
Was that Cracker, was it?
It was Ash Cracker.
And Liam Reedy with the tap, almost like ruck work, able to tap it straight into Ash Cracker's hands to set up that shot at goal.
It was Nathan Cooper who reached over the top and spoiled an uncontested mark for Caden Brand.
Straight down the middle they're going here.
Ball back into play. Caden Brand brings it back in. McLean looks for the over-the-top mark overhead, unable to get there. Taylor front and centre to win the ball back as Frankston have to defend. They're forced onto the back foot. Forward is Bove. He's unable to get there. Soccer off the ground by Lewis Taylor, formerly of the Lions. Handball out wide. Snap around the body was from Bove again, but at home for the Dolphins is McLaughlin.
Will Arthurson, that is, and he's very good at coming off his man and intercepting there. He had his eyes on the ball the whole way there, so well done,
It is Will Arthurson, apologies.
So Arthurson brings it back into play. Nice kick. It just gets over the outstretched hands to Brolick. Yes, he goes short and finds Freeman, who brings it back to Brolick.
They want to shift the ball here. Mitch Cox moving to the corridor here, but I think they're going to have to take their medicine down the line. No.
He goes short and he finds Newman, who marks courageously and gets an ear massage for his trouble. Plays on, runs off half-back, chips into the middle of the ground. The umpire's got in the way of Cracker, created the turnover. Josh Guthrie took the mark, pumped it back inside 50. Through the hands of Ryan Clark it goes. Taylor runs onto the football, feeds the handball back. Swans with a chance. Flying shot O'Riordan up towards the top of the goal square. Max Williams takes the mark at the last line of defence, and that could have been embarrassing for the officials if the Swans had kicked the goal right there.
Comedy of errors almost there. That's a risky kick.
It's a very risky kick. He's been turned over. Hand pass came back. The numbers are still with Frankston. Cox goes dangerously across the face of goal. It comes off as Frankston supporters hang their heads and think, how did we get out of that? Nathan Freeman was good enough.
Fifth possession for the quarter for Freeman already.
Chips it short to Will Arthurson. Looks for the ball into the middle, and they could be away here. The Dolphins through Newman. Marks and goes. They've got the numbers on this broadcast side. O'Leary's running on. They've got to find him. He's got an open goal square if he can mark the ball. Plays on. Should goal. And he has missed inexplicably.
You can't miss that.
You can't get a better interchange, though. The timing of it was electric.
Ash Cracker coming off.
Yeah, using the ball short through the back line there, Frankston, but but the players that had the ball in their hands were they're better ball users, and then Newman pulls the trigger. Should have been a goal. There would have been a great start.
So Will Gould to bring it away from defence. The margin is 14 points. That was O'Leary's first miss of the season, would you believe? And a bad one to miss as it came out towards half-back.
Sometimes with O'Leary, he'd probably prefer it around the body.
I was going to say, he probably could have gone for the right foot banana.
He could have. There could have been all sorts of bells and whistles on that. But at the end of the day, you just got to convert.
So half forward now as Josh Guthrie fed the hand pass out to Clark. He might get it back. No, Clark stepped around and gave it to O'Riordan. Hand pass through traffic. That was a good tackle laid on both. Play on was the call. Into the centre of the ground it goes. Frankston with the turnover. Cox fed it through. Kick inside 50. They've got the numbers here, the Dolphins. Brand up to the task. Gave the handball back. That was to Witherden. He fed it back further to Cooper. Back to Brand. Little one over the top to Witherden. The heat is still there. The half volley is unable to be picked up by Boyd, and it gets over the line for a throw in. The Frankston forwards just stayed on the hammer there, didn't they?
Jack Menther and Blake O'Leary were the two main ones able to get Frankston the repeat inside 50.
And I thought Begley could have hit O'Leary inside 50 there, the shorter option. There's a reset free kick against Sydney here.
Yeah, so it's going to go for Frankston. It'll be a shot on goal. These always seem to hurt, don't they? They're asking the question down here of the umpires. That is Fraser Maris, who was the one who didn't get back. And Hayden McLean saying, well, hang on, there was one from each team that didn't get back.
Yeah,
but Brolick got there first.
We'll talk about that after Reedy takes this free kick. There is an instruction from head office to penalise the forward. If there's two players going back, you penalise the forward if they're not inside.
Penalise the forward, okay. Yes. So that's why it's gone the other way, a shot at goal to Frankston. So, and that's the way it has fallen most of the year, isn't it? Reedy. From 47 metres out, it's off to the left. It's not a good kick. And there's no one on the line. It's just cleared it for a behind. So Reedy does get the behind, and it's 6:14.50 Frankston, leading Sydney 5:35 after 6.5 minutes.
And Sinclair got on his bike then while Reedy was still watching the ball go through for a behind, and he's found himself with an easy mark.
From West Coast Eagle and Callum Sinclair goes over the back.
Clean.
What a mark taken. It's not been paid.
Oh.
That is incredibly harsh on Hayden McLean.
But look at, he's got the ball has nearly disappeared into his midriff. That's how well he marked it, and the umpire just looked as though the ball was on the ground.
Wow, that is a screamer denied.
That would have been one of the marks of the year. I tell you what, we saw a good one with Boyd and the Bull Ants, but McLean nearly got there himself. That was a clean mark, robbed off him.
The specky at Werribee, does that work?
Yeah, that'll do. The specky at the B. The specky at the B.
There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have to look for one that would have been up there, but cruelly not paid as Hayden McLean licks his wounds. Ball back in. Sinclair.
Freeman's free at the stoppage here. I wouldn't leave that.
Battles with Rendell. Sinclair goes back and finds it. Handball over the top was to Guthrie. Swans have got the numbers forward. Taylor socks it off the ground. It's the advantage there of Young. Ball ricochets. Is locked in near side wing. As underneath all of that for the Dolphins was Al Richards. Unable to get it through as the Dolphins lead by 15-0 in the third term.
Sinclair and Rendell. Sinclair tapped it back. He'll go and get his own football almost. Doing beautifully was McKay. He didn't know where to go in the end. He just threw it on the boot. Taylor receives nicely. That was from Cloas. He kicks up towards half forward. Camped under the ball. That is a courageous mark from Brolick over top of Logan Young. He went short across the half-back line and found Freeman, who chips it back to Hiscock. Sends it wide, looking for and finding... that is Stern on the outer side. Comes back inboard. McKay only needs one hand to take that mark. Gives the hand pass off. They're away here, Frankston. This is Begley inside 50. Lets himself down with the kick and turns it over to Gould.
He's had 3 inside 50s this quarter, Begley, and he's yet to hit a target. He's a better kick than that.
Gould goes short. Dangerous kick. Turnover time. Dolphins have the ball. Back to Begley, but it's overcooked in the end. Trying to find him was Blake O'Leary. Swans look to clear. They do so in the end through Maxted. Goes to the outer side wing. Ball bobbles around. Handball short. Stevens, clean as ever over the top. He gets it back on the run. Was too hot for him to handle. Goes in with the tackling pressure. Should be locked in. True centre wing, far side. Umpire lets it roll. Stolen out of there from Frankston. Ball down the line.
Nice Billy McKay kick on the left there.
As the ball is inside 50 towards left half forward for the Dolphins. Not taken. Brought to ground. Chance for the Mosquito Fleet to get there. Too hot for Begley again. It's not been his night. Still the tackling pressure is on. Brand was able to deal with it. Ball goes to full back. They should clear. Kick out wide's a poor one. Was initially looking for Churgwin.
Great pace
but
from
they've
Freeman.
turned over. Freeman again. Handball to Brolick, who's got time and space. Can he engineer a good kick? The answer is yes. That's a brilliant ball. And it's James Rundell with a chance right of centre to go back and punch this one through.
And Brendan, we come to that time each week as we know a player, I think he's too far out from goal. He'll take his time here, and if that gap opens up in front of that hole I can see right now.
It is that you could drive the Spirit of Tasmania through that gap.
So there might be a late lead here from someone into the hole.
Rundell looks like he's going back for the shot at the moment. Will kick from right on 50. Rundell hooks it out to the right. Horrible. It's coming back, but it won't come back far enough. And it's another behind for the Dolphins. Missing to the right. They move to 6:15:51, leading the Sydney Swans 5-5-35 on the Ray Wider Frankston scoreboard.
It was actually picked at the last second, wasn't it? O'Leary was just sneaking into the hole, and it was read by Tom Boyd, who just snuck out there and made Rundell go for the shot. As the kick-in finds the man who's brought his own footy here tonight, and that is Colin O'Riordan.
27th possession coming.
Oh, and it's a shocker. He's tried to kick it over top of 7 foot, and he didn't. And Liam Reedy just stuck the big mid up and dragged it down and gets another chance.
It's like the Great Wall of China had been built in front of him there, and he tried to take that. He's been so good, hasn't he? And Reedy gets his third shot on goal now. He's finding his feet as the game goes on. We've sung his praises for his ability to create a contest, but he's now getting some opportunities. And if he slots this, watch the players come from everywhere.
I don't think even Callum Sinclair would have reached that. Liam Reedy certainly did. And he lines up now. He runs in and kicks from 40 metres out. And it holds its line enough. And he gets his first goal in VFL football. And they do come from everywhere. Every player on the ground gets down to Liam Reedy. And he has got a big goal for the Frankston Dolphins. They go to 7:15:57. Sydney 5-5-35. And it is 11 minutes gone, third quarter on the Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
A goal they really needed to get for the amount of dominance they've had in the first 11.5 minutes of this quarter.
Yeah, definitely. And you see the reaction of the players there to Liam Reedy. He's so popular. He's one of those, if anyone's old enough to remember Paul Meldrum at Carlton, who sort of came off the streets.
I remember the story. Never saw him play.
Well,
just wandered in and said, give me a game.
Late in the pre-season, Coach Danny Ryan gets a call from a local coach to say, I've got a player I think should be playing above my level, and that was Liam Reedy. And when the 204-centimetre frame walked through the door, he became friends with a lot of players very quickly. They were just so excited to see him. We've been waiting a long time for him to get a run, and great result there.
Great craft from Sinclair. Had to palm it forward again. Frankston with the numbers. Handball shot to Freeman, who just come on. Charges through the middle of Avalon Airport Oval. Goes up towards half forward. And a great towering mark to repel the advances from Nathan Cooper.
They're probably the sort of kicks Frankston aren't going to get on the end of. High up and under. Allow the interceptors to take the grab.
Short to Cloesy. Goes towards centre wing. McLean steams in. Looks to take the mark overhead. Unable to do so. Has to go back and try and find it. Packer plays over the top of the ball. It's absolutely impossible to see who's underneath all of that, but it's a stoppage on the far side. 22-point lead to the Dolphins, 12.5 gone, third term.
Hayden McLean starting to find his rhythm. He's getting separation going into the marking contest. It wouldn't surprise me to see him clunk half a dozen this half.
They need to get it down there to him a bit closer to goal, however, as Newman and Freeman combine. But the kick has been chopped off, and the mark is taken by Cloesy, or Guthrie it was, in fact, who drives it long down towards half forward. McLean caught underneath it again this time. The Swans with the football, dodging, weaving, kicking forward for Sydney was Maris inside 50.
Done.
It goes, and Richards did a great job and took a contested mark.
First gamer, Austin Johnson.
Johnson, sorry.
And good kick.
He did well, and he went out wide to Williams, who is off. Drives it down the outer wing, and it'll be picked off, will it here? Just brought it to ground. That was Brodie McLaughlin who did enough. Inboard, kick from Stern was good, and the mark taken by Mackay. They've got the numbers forward.
If he's patient here, he'll find a short hit-up lead, but if not, go back and have the shot. It'll be right on Billy Mackay's range as he handballs off to Cox.
And Mitch Cox sends it out wide. And this man has been waiting there. The mark wasn't paid. It must have been touched off the boot. Cracker has a flying shot at goal and misses across the face. Through for one behind, but it was Connor Riley who was camped down there all on his own, screaming for the ball for about 3 minutes, I reckon it was.
Yep.
and it didn't come to him until almost too late, and he still nearly got the football. Swans break out of defence. We'll get a score check shortly as Sydney has it on the outer side of the ground. It was Cloesy to Guthrie. He brings it down the outer wing. Chance now for the Swans. Tracking it back is Hiscox, though, for Frankston. Drew the man. Hand pass over the top. That came to Lloyd. He's under the pump, but is good enough for it to get clear and send the kick down the wing. But the mark is safely taken for the Swans by Maxted.
Unfashionable player, Liam Hiscox, but he worked 100 metres down the ground then to provide an option to be the last line of defence.
So Maxted goes long down the line. Frankston with the numbers, but ball brought to ground. Can they extract the ball out of there? 23-point lead to the Dolphins as the ball has come out of there. Stevens over the top, sells the candy, goes inside 50. Numbers with the Swans out the back. Hiscox with a brilliant mark on the last line of defence, potentially goal saving.
That's Arthurson, and Callum Sinclair's down on the far side of the ground clutching an ankle or knee. He got a secondary hit from a friendly fire there, so we'll watch that with interest.
Keep a very close eye on that one, Mick, as the Dolphins try to work out a defence here. Cracker goes short to Cox. He could go to Riley, decides to bite off a little bit more and send it out in the path of Johnson. He'll run onto the football now, chip in towards half forward. That's a nice kick and good closing pace there from Brand, who got in, or Gould in fact it was, who got in there, got a fist in and knocked it away for a throw in.
As we look at the far side of the ground, Callum Sinclair being assisted by two trainers and a runner coming off the ground there, limping heavily on that right ankle.
This is a big developing story and horrible news for Sydney's chances tonight if Callum Sinclair's out of action. Throw in on the other side of the ground. Mentha sweeps through, pumps it back towards the top of the goal square. A very dangerous kick, but Brand is able to read it. Took the mark, played on quickly, got it out wide to Cloesy, who's starting to come into the game in this third quarter. Short ball to Taylor.
Sinclair might even, if he recovers, he could be a loose man 50 metres free.
There's no one near him. They just got to get it down there, and he still might get hold of the football. But they're not looking that way as the turnover comes. No, it's a free kick for high contact. What's happening there? If they can get Sinclair off, the forward target could get down there unmanned.
Sinclair now walking on his own accord, which is good to see.
Swans with the football in the shadows on the outer side of the ground. It's going to come all the way back to Brand, so they're not achieving much at the moment, Sydney.
Could be this interchange that works here, though, straight off the ground. He should tread water here, the young fella coming on.
It's Tyler Watts who's just come on for Cal Sinclair as the ball goes down the line.
He should have went straight to full forward, I would have thought.
Well, he's on his way up towards that forward 50 now. Perhaps a little bit too late, but he's got the message eventually. They've got numbers on the outer side, or on near side, but the outer side to where the ball is at the moment if Sydney can get it out there. But they've instead decided to keep the ball down that far side wing at the moment.
What we're seeing here, Ollie, already is McLean's been pushed into the ruck and they're waiting for him to push up the ground to be the target. They don't have too many tall options now.
Maxted long down the line, out the back for the Dolphins, shipping ball across, forces Freeman to work. He does something. That'll be a 50.
That should not have been 50.
Technically, it's there. Freeman was clever. He feigned to play on and drew Clark into him.
It was the momentum of him.
It's harsh call, but Freeman knew what he was doing.
Against Ryan Clark, and Freeman doesn't break stride towards full forward. Handball over the top from Cracker.
Free kick, Swans.
Free kick paid to the Swans, so a chance for a goal. Easy goal, a walking goal to the goal square, a vacant goal square denied, as the Swans should clear from defence.
Yeah, Reedy jumped over the pack and clattered straight into the back of Will Gould. And now it came back to Churgwin at half-back for the Swans.
This is the real challenge for them. They're getting the ball across half-back, but can they penetrate the Dolphin defence that's set up so well behind the ball?
At the moment, they haven't looked like scoring in the first 18 minutes of this third quarter. Dylan Stevens has it on the half-back flank. He goes further backwards and finds Churgwin again. They're racking up the disposals and achieving nothing at the moment, Sydney. Stevens gets it back at half-back. He'll come inboard, looking for Young. Has to be accurate. It is. He had to get rid of it quickly after he played on. Now here's a chance. Taylor will get there. He waited for it to bounce, and Begley didn't. Josh Begley got the ball, kicked it to half-back. Freeman ran hard to take the mark, and the opportunity is missed.
Impressive play by Begley. Then I would have backed Louis Taylor to win that ball at ground level and goal from there.
He waited for it to bounce, didn't he? And Begley came from the other direction at a rate of knots. Now it is the Dolphins who can build. Brolix at half-back. Off one step. Kicks it brilliantly up to half-forward. And it'll be driven forward there by Cox inside 50. It goes. Mentha's a chance again. He's got Stevens for company. The Swans will get hold of it. Looping hand pass out to O'Riordan. Draws the man. Puts the handball onto the path of Clark. He goes, or Stevens, it was Dylan who got it across to Taylor. He'll chip back in board. Ryan Clark has it now. Goes short. They're in trouble. Newman came from nowhere and gets the free kick. One too many handballs again for the Swans. Turnover time. Here go the Dolphins. This is Lochnan to half forward. Spoil made. That was well done by Sydney. Cloesy in towards half forward. Arthurson can't trap it. Went back and got it a second time. Gave it to Newman. He'll just take off through the middle of the ground again. Has a bounce. Runs right to the defender and kicks it beautifully inside 50. Big fist from Brand coming in from the side. And Taylor, will he keep it in? He does. And now finally, the Swans can find a target. Taylor, great kick. Half volley it was for Kyle Skane. And it'll be still a chance for Sydney. I'll give a chance to catch my breath in a minute as the Dolphins bust it through. Swans still going. Towards the boundary line it goes and eventually out of play.
Mercy on us all with a stoppage there. But what's important to point out here is the game's going frenetically from end to end. Both sides have a number of extra players in their defensive 50, so there needs to be patience going forward from both sides. Find a short, take your time, and then set up again for a forward thrust.
So ball will go back in on the near side wing. Thrown in, one down by the Dolphins, more specifically McCormack, as the Frankston Dolphins looks to go forward and extend their lead. They won't get the chance in the immediate future. Clark goes back. He's got teammates in support. Decides to ignore them behind and go forward instead. Forward was Skeen. Drop the mark. Chance for the Dolphins to move forward the other way. Chipped across. Dangerous ball towards Riley. He's got to make it work. He can't do so. In fact, he does. Goes back and finds it. Handball McCormack. They're moving forward with some velocity and some pace. Cox brought down. Got a boot to ball according to the umpire. Handball on the top to McLean. Looks to go on board. Chiseled kick over the top of Maris. It looked like a potential high. Not paid. Will it be holding the ball? This will be incredibly harsh. But the umpiring is a harsh business. And the Frankston Dolphins have won themselves a free kick.
They need to get a message out here to try and control the play. Even going forward, find a short across half forward, because the numbers are against each side as they go into their forward 50. You'll find a short here.
They're absolutely dominating the play, Frankston, but the forward entries are giving the Swans defenders a chance to pick them off, and they're picking them off quite nicely. That's the only reason Sydney's still in the game.
And numbers against them here again.
McCormack kicks to half forward. Picked up by Max Ted, who got it on quickly. Boyd flicked it over the back, and then it came to Max Ted a second time. Strong tackle laid there by Johnson. And it'll be a ball up.
We spoke in the pre-game, Brendan, about this time of the game, particularly with so many young players for Sydney, is going to be a challenge. And they need to get their structure forward of the ball to give themselves a chance.
Ryan Clark fed the hand pass out. Taylor breaks one tackle, couldn't quite break the second one as it slid down. This will stay right on the line, and it stayed in for a long time and eventually trickled over.
Hayden McLean setting back forward as a key target for Sydney, but as we see, there's spare defenders for Frankston and for Sydney.
Callum Sinclair's just having the ankle re-strapped down on the bench, so hopefully for Sydney's sake that means he can get back out there. Tap one down by Tyler Watts. Strong tackle laid on Begley, but he stood up in it and got it away. Dylan Stevens goes to half forward. Flying was McLean. Ball out the back. Tracking it is Lochnan. Slipping over at the crucial stage was Taylor, but turnover time beautifully done by Bove. His hand pass has been chopped off by Hiscock, and he goes short and finds Freeman.
There's a little bit of almost an Oz kick feel to the last 5 or 10 minutes, with everyone chasing the footy and just blasting it forward. Freeman showing composure on this occasion.
Freeman back to full back. Now Brolick, the former Box Hill Hawk, goes out to the opposite side of the ground. Arthurson on the second grab takes the mark. Uncontested, no one around him. Kick was poor. Should be chopped off. Can the Swans relaunch into attack? Stevens looks to step through traffic. Gets the handball off eventually. The ball bounces around. They've got the handball chain going on here, the Swans. Ball inside 50.
There's
leading target. Over the head of McLean, through hands, and now it's into Freeman for the Dolphins, who look to rebound off half-back. Chiseling ball, a poor one, off the hands of Gould. Chance now for Cloesy. Handball short. They're looking to work the ball inside 50. On the overlap is Guthrie. Great tackle laid once again on Cloesy, and it trickles out of bounds left half forward for the for the Sydney Swans.
Jonty Ralsmith, you might not know more about him, but young Guthrie is really impressive for me for Sydney. I could see him stepping to the next level.
Well, he's actually the middle brother, Mick. He's young, he's older than Zach and younger than Cam. So he's been at he spent time at Geelong before coming to Coburg.
Okay.
So he has been around. He's about 25 years of age, so he's been around a little while as the boundary throw-in goes nowhere, and it'll be thrown up in the air.
Louis Taylor been impressive this quarter, and he's very clean at ground level.
Chance now for the Swans, but the Dolphins will break away. That's beautifully done by Riley. Off Freeman slipped over at the crucial stage, and O'Riordan managed to get onto the end of his handball and knock it over the line for a throw-in.
Was that deliberate from Freeman? He handballed it into the shins of Colin O'Riordan.
No, not deliberate. If it's another player.
Insufficient intent.
But he was probably trying to.
No,
trying
what
to
I'm
get him
saying
out on the
was,
ball.
sorry, what I'm
deliberately
saying was,
into his-
Nathan Freeman deliberately into,
Well, Freeman also made sure he got the possession as well, so that was important.
So a throw-in. He's up to 30 now, 31 now, Nathan Freeman, racking them up again. That should be a free kick to Frankston. It isn't. Ryan Clark might nearly get rewarded now, and he is. So that's the square up on the one that went against Maris a minute or so ago.
Now, where's McLean? Is he?
He's in the goal
deep?
square.
He's the logical target here, so Clark looks for him, or is he going to have a shot?
He's going to go all the way and then spear it towards McLean. He missed him by 5 metres.
And McLean looked back at him with puzzlement.
What
then to
is
say,
that?
"You're kicking it to me."
It was Joe Lloyd who took the mark, put the kick to the outer side. Battling for it is Stern, beaten for it by the Swans, who have the numbers. Chip ball back inside 50, and back there with the flight of the ball, marking it for Frankston. Dangerous kick it was from Newman. Chance now. Well, they've got the numbers, Frankston. They had the numbers, but Max Williams kicked it into the cricket nets.
Yeah.
Over the head of Freeman.
Benny
and
Hill
so
music, cue it
late-
up for that passage of play.
Late chance here for the Swans then. Louis Taylor. He's got a pretty illustrious CV at AFL level.
Very kickable for a player of Lewis Taylor's quality here.
On
Yes,
the boundary.
and also he might back his leg speed in here against Freeman. There's no Frankston player.
He's going to go with the around the corner kick, the Stevie J curve.
I would take Freeman on here if I was Louis Taylor.
He's off, and he does take him on, and he hooks it back, but he hooks it back too much and misses to the near side. So Sydney's first score of the third quarter took nearly 27 minutes. They go to 5-6-36. Frankston 7-16-58. 27 gone in the third quarter for Ray White Frankston.
And that's the three-quarter time siren. A big quarter for the Dolphins. Their 6-6-6 slots. A massive final term as the Dolphins seek to go back inside the top 8. They will if they are victorious.
And Ollie, the mercury, I believe it's heading towards 7 degrees here. It's very, very cold, and all plaudits go to the supporters out here who've been full of voice, but there's...
And that comes from us, and we've been at some very cold nights at Kaiba Stadium, even colder than those probably.
And I look in front of me here, Frankston club legend Will Fordham coming off recent surgery, going up the grandstand in crutches. He'll be sorely missed by Frankston. He'd love to have him out there.
Much prefer to have the number 7 running around out there tonight. And I'm sure he would be too as the final quarter gets underway. 22 points the margin. Frankston lead the Swans. Quick kick from Clark goes up towards half forward, but only as far as Arthurson, who took the mark and played on, gave it to Freeman, who's really racking them up now. Goes to Begley across to, that is Newman, who goes towards half forward. Mentha with the sit. Knocked away from him. Sinclair got it, gave it to O'Riordan. Then to the advantage of Guthrie. Through the middle go the Swans. One too many handballs. Are they up to the task now? Maris across to, that was Guthrie, who kicks towards half forward. But the mark is taken for Frankston.
Clohessy it was on the left foot there. McLean was just pleading for the ball to be banged inside 50 at a one-on-one contest there.
It's Brolick who sent it back in the other direction.
Long down the line.
Yep,
It's going back from whence it came.
Out on the full, though.
Out on the full as the Swans will bring this one back in. 22 points, the deficit at the moment, but they'll believe that they can get it back.
Freeman with 32 possessions on track for another 40 game.
It's going long inside 50. Up and under ball. Flyer McLean through hands. And it's out to the outer side for the Dolphins. Shorter ball, poor one. Dolphins got to work. It works out. Handball over the top as they look to move forward through Stern. Long down the line, but it's chopped off yet again. This time marked by Sam Witherden. He plays on. Cloesy marks.
Been a few of the kids for the Swans that have been very impressive. Witherden's right at the top of that list, isn't he?
Yeah, though we spoke about the opportunity there being presented with, and some of those players are taking it, including Guthrie.
As Bove looks to go to the outer side. Dangerous kick, nearly chopped off. Gould has to make it work. Will he pick up the ball? He's under pressure. Mentha, socket off the ground. Potential for insufficient intent. It's going to be paid. You saw the umpire charging in. His eyes lit up, and there was only one decision from there.
It's become a little bit of a spectator sport now, watching the preparatory movements for the decision there from the umpire.
Jackson
know it's
Fast one in
coming, don't you?
particular.
O'Riordan short. Dylan Clark charges. Handball off short. It finds Josh Guthrie. Goes long inside 50. McLean looks to make a contest of it. He's beaten out in this scenario. Chipped into the middle of the ground. Mitch Cox is there. There's a number of Dolphins in the middle. Handball to Begley. He's winning the raffle. To Riley. Ball to the edge of 50.
Whoa.
Towards half forward. Begley should pick it back up. Second bite of the cherry. Charges round a tackle. Gets a handball off. He was lucky to do so. Umpires picked out a free kick. And it's going the way of the Dolphins.
Was that a trip that he
Begley
made?
plays on. Sorry, Mick. Go.
Oh, that's interesting. The
He
umpire
looked to
called
play
play
on.
on and then changed his mind. He realised that he wasn't behind the mark, so he thought I'd better call him back.
So
Okay, he's got to be too far out here, Ollie. And look at
You'd
the
think
point.
so.
The point's gone up.
There's
here,
the
Brendan.
set play.
Yep.
And
I'm having a
Sinclair
shot.
goes running straight back into the hole. But is he quick enough? He's not quick enough.
Begley from near on 60, but it's chopped off.
O'Riordan well read.
Swans to move the other way through the Irish-born O'Riordan. Handball short. Goes back through the middle. It's now with Churgwin. O'Riordan looks to handball it off. Another possession for him. Stevens charges through the middle. That was electric. Louis Taylor turns round. Churgwin
on
again.
here.
The
They're on.
Werribee player. 2-on-1 in the forward 50. They've coughed it up. Brolick marks at the last line of defence. Goal-saving mark for Frankston. Alex move to the open side.
And he's been good at half-back Brolick. An unfamiliar role, you would think, for him. As the Dolphins go down the outer side through Freeman. O'Riordan got a hand up there, knocked it to ground.
Newman.
Here's a chance for Newman, who went off the ground. Now the Dolphins. Cox. Can he pick it up? He can't. Ends up kicking off the ground again, deep into the forward pocket. Left behind by the Swans
well
defender.
done.
And that should be a free kick to Frankston. Umpire said no. There was high contact there.
That was a Mitch Cox special, I think, under that pack, was it, Jonty?
Yes,
It
it
was.
is Cox there, and the umpire might be onto the Mitch Cox special because he hasn't paid about 3 of them tonight. Flicked out by Sinclair. Little handball, Mentha. He had to go over the top, and it's a throw, says the umpire.
Advantage.
Advantage quickly taken, and the Swans go away. Taylor has to get rid of it quickly. He decides to go sideways with the kick, and he stuffed it up. Chance now for Frankston to turn it over on their forward 50. Little ball away, Mentha. And what have we seen this time?
Free kick Frankston, I think,
Downfield
off the
free
ball.
kick.
Another throw, is it? Or
The hit
arm
on
grab?
Newman. It was a hit on Newman, and Mentha gets the downfield free kick. Louis Taylor then, he looked up when he got the ball across half-back, and Frankston had spare defenders everywhere. He would normally have kicked out the back to a player running onto it then, but he had to go sideways.
To me, you still kick it 50 metres down the ground because
Probably.
it takes another kick because it's 50 metres further away. It takes another kick to bring it back.
Yeah, and I think that's that inexperience he's got ahead of him there with the young NAB League players here.
So Jack Mentha from 49 metres out, kick on its way. He's missed everything badly. He's almost put it in the river. It's out of bounds on the full. 22 points, the score remains. Frankston in command, but they haven't put the Swans away just yet.
And they'll be kicking themselves if they don't win this game. Mentha puts under pressure, probably front on contact, and that's the way the umpire sees it too. Blatant free kick to be given away as the Swans look to move it back in. O'Riordan being attended to by O'Leary, the 238s, manning up on one another as it goes to the far side wing. Swans with the numbers. Great work there to burst through the pack.
Taylor.
The kick is poor though. Taylor on great mark courage. Amazing from Max Williams, who with a bit of friendly fire with Liam Hiscock.
He's tough, Max Williams.
He's very tough. He's gone back with the fly and he's taken a courageous mark.
I've watched him closely in this second half playing on Hayden McLean, and he's putting in early body work before the ball arrives. He's a strong man, Max Williams, and he's getting the upper hand in that duel.
Goes across the face of goal, and it's marked on this far side by Austin Johnson on VFL debut. Goes to Begley with space, the former Bomber. Poor kick. It's a risky one. They should move away here. The Sydney Swans. Handball over the top. He waited to give it. Eventually did. It goes back now with O'Riordan, he's hit hard. Still bouncing around. In fact, no, it wasn't O'Riordan. It was Witherden. As Mentha moves away. Searing kick. Cox is on the run.
Oh,
Man free inside 50. Should be a goal for the Dolphins. Set up play. Walking in, open goal. Josh Stern with a big moment. And he's blown it.
Who was it that
That
was
would
free
have
in
been
the
the
goal
sealer.
square? Was that Brady McLaughlin?
Brady
Free in the goal
McLaughlin
square.
absolutely burnt him and kicked a point.
It's a cold night, and you want some heat in the game, but you don't want to be burnt like that, Brendan. That was.
Oh, I tell you what, you'd take that sausage back if it was burnt that badly, and pass over the top. The Dolphins with another opportunity here. If they lose, it's their own fault. O'Riordan will be tackled over the line, and it'll be thrown in. 7-17-59 Frankston, Sydney 5-6-36.
What Josh Stern was actually really good. He drew the Swans defender to him, but then what he needed to do was kick it over the top rather than kick for goal.
Either that or shoot for goal sooner before the Swans defender got too close.
You just feel like the final nail in the coffin's coming, but they've got to execute here, Frankston.
Slapped on by Witherden. And Guthrie there as well. Stevens dumped back over the line.
Freeman up to 35 possessions, as we see most weeks. Ryan Clark and O'Riordan with 32 for Sydney, and Dylan Stevens with 29. The AFL players are doing their bit for Sydney tonight, all getting their hands on the footy.
As you'd expect it, because they simply have to, given how undermanned they are with all those players still stuck in Newcastle.
Ball back in half forward. The next goal is crucial. We know that. Handball short from Newman. Ball inside 50 towards half forward for the Dolphins. Looking to get out the back was McLaughlin. In the end, it eludes Liam Reedy. Out for a throw in the left forward pocket for the Dolphins, who are looking to ice this game here and now.
We say this most weeks, but watch Mitch Cox here. He'll feign as a non-active player and then burst onto this stoppage. Mentha, another one, he'll burst onto this stoppage here. Can Frankston make the most of this opportunity?
Ball back in left forward pocket. Brought down by Sinclair, and the Mosquito fleet go to work for the Dolphins. Will they able to extract it? Begley's over the top. Will he be able to pull the ball out of the pack? It looks like not, and it's will be a ball up centre half forward for the Dolphins.
It just bounced on its end over the head of Mentha and then went sideways past Cox, didn't it? You were exactly on the money. Sinclair fed it out to Taylor, who will go through traffic. He got it to Young, fed it all the way out wide to the outer side. Josh Clark plays on quickly, sends it down the wing. Good kick, finds the target in Watts, swings around under the scoreboard, almost caught, got a hand pass away. The Dolphins have arrived and put the pressure on, and it will eventually be held in there through desperate tackling from both teams. It'll be a ball up, Mick.
You got a feel for Hayden McLean there. He finally found himself inside 50 with a one-on-one with Max Williams. But instead of kicking the ball from the mark, they went for the handball inside and just wasted that opportunity.
One down by the Frankston team. Dylan Stevens working his way through off the ground a couple of times. He's got 3 on his hammer, and in the end the hammer falls on him. And out it comes. Riley gave it back to O'Leary. He goes short by hand through the middle. McKay towards half forward. Good kick. Just a hand in there was good. Back where there is McLaughlin. Turning in, third in line. Johnson rolls it home.
Josh Stern, is
it? Is it Stern or Johnson?
Stern.
It is Stern. It is Josh Stern against his old team.
And a relieved Josh Stern.
But not only a relieved Josh Stern, he had Brady McLaughlin in the goal scorer again. He didn't go for him.
And Frankston now, you would certainly think, have got the job done here at Chirnside Park, Avalon Airport Oval. They are 8-17-65. Sydney 5-6-36. 10 minutes gone, final quarter for Ray White Frankston, as Louis Taylor looks absolutely exhausted wandering to the bench.
He's put everything into this game in this last quarter. Yeah, for any Sydney Swans fans out here, we spoke earlier before the broadcast. They've had a number of close losses where they could have easily been on the other side of the ledger. I wouldn't be discouraged by the performance tonight. If they had another key target up forward, perhaps, and obviously those Newcastle players, this game would have been turned on its head.
Not a key target, but Ben Ronk was a big out
Ben
as well.
Ronk, yeah. Logan McDonald's in Newcastle. They'd certainly love him out here tonight, that's for sure. Sam Reid on his way back from injury probably wouldn't have played tonight, but they're the sort of players that aren't here.
As McLean goes in, going in courageously for the Dolphins was Liam Reedy on VFL debut. Has performed admirably for the Dolphins as a ball up just inside the centre square in an attacking sense for the Swans. They need everything to go right for them here as there's 11 minutes gone in the final term. Cal Sinclair will go up for the Swans. What can he do? Can he get the team on his back? Clark tries to fight. He isn't able to extract it. It's past Stevens. Dumping tackle into the ground. Brilliant work from Newman. It's locked in again.
It's a big effort from Josh Newman to bring down Gould.
I had a chat to Josh Newman at the local football yesterday. He was primed for this game, desperate to get another win on the board. He's led from the front.
McLean with the tap, hand pass over the top. I've liked the game of Witherden, but that was Young who gave it to Stevens. Sends it out wide, tracking it towards the wing is McLean. The bounce doesn't favour him. Getting there is Johnson. Sends it back in board. Sinclair will be sore. There's no question about that tomorrow. The short ball from Johnson. Found that was O'Leary, who went back to defensive 50. And the Dolphins will come all the way with the switch across halfback. That was from McKay, who goes nicely. Freeman, another disposal for him. This one's not so good. Swans players ran under the ball, though. Riley's got some pressure from McLean, and he's up to the task. Fed the hand pass out to open space. Who's getting back there first? Stevens, worried out of the contest nicely by McKay. Cracker kicks towards half forward. Well weighted. Ball was nice. There's McLaughlin. Will he go himself or will he find a man? He looks for a man, and Caden Brand chops it off beautifully for the Swans.
He had O'Leary long over the top, running into an open goal square. Easy to judge from up here, but good intercept.
Brand goes wide, looking for Ryan Clark. 2 AFL listed players combine. It's a nice ball over the top. It's found Fraser Maris on half back.
Don't go backwards, Fraser.
Has to find a target. Goes long and high. Frankston with the numbers. Umpire spotted a free kick. It's going the way of the Swans. Callum Sinclair has ball in hand. He gives it off.
It's Tyler Watts who was grabbed by the arm was their decision. It was probably
Watts.
a bit of holding both ways.
Goes laterally. Finds Maris again. Further on now to Will Gould. Goes long inside 50. It's the only way now for the Swans.
Well done.
Is there a free kick in there?
It's a mark.
It looks like a mark. It's very well taken. Under a strong duress. And it must be kicked now for the Swans.
He protected the drop of the ball then really well. Held back against his opponent. I can't pick up the number.
Gennaro Bove, I believe it is.
Yeah, that showed some really good craft there. He identified where the ball was going to drop, backed into his opponent, and then at the last minute, he probably would have got a free for holding anyway, but then made the last minute lunge for the ball and a chance to convert here. Big breath as he goes back there and comes in to convert.
So it's Bove from about 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Gennaro Bove. It has to be quality from here, and it's not. He misses to the left. Swans move to 5-7-37, trailing the Dolphins 8-17-65. 14 minutes gone, final term. Ray White Frankston scoreboard.
And Mick, remember, we do have the Woolworths Coringal Hub $100 Player of the Match voucher to award tonight.
And we always ask each week, the Sydney players, they don't have to catch the plane down to use that $100.
No, they can use it at any Woolworths, as Nathan Freeman takes the mark on the halfback flank on cue.
37th touch.
He's had a reasonable day again. Has Nathan Freeman. He went to Richards. And away come the Dolphins. They go down the dark side of the ground.
Mitch Cox is free forward of the ball.
This is Stern. He's going to get run down. He just got his kick away in time. It was good, however. He found Cox.
And Connor Riley in the middle of the forward 50. Even Max Williams sneaking forward for hopefully a goal here.
It goes out wide, in fact, to Stern. And now inboard. Kick inside 50 from Voss. And Brand picks off another one.
He's really grown into this game. Caden Brand, obviously AFL listed, formerly of Hawthorn, now his second club in the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, dropped
really
this
well.
week he was.
He was.
Played in the AFL last week and then lost his spot again for the second time this year.
He'll be fighting to get that back. It's coming in
wow.
late. It's got to be a free kick, and it is.
And 50. The mark's paid and the 50-metre penalty.
It's against
very
Max
crude.
Williams.
Very
I have
crude
to
from
say,
Williams.
watch Max Williams. He's one of those players that he just can't pull out of those situations.
No, he just keeps going.
Yep.
Make sure the young fella earns it. Darcy Churgwin on debut.
So running forward now.
And he's not even getting the free kick.
Guthrie goes long towards centre half forward. Off hands, back of the pack. Should be a goal to the Swans, and it is. Maybe there's still life in the Swans at the moment.
No,
it's Logan Young out the back of the pack. Sydney 6-7-43. Dolphins 8-17-65. This game's still on.
And we've got a problem here for Darcy Churgwin. He tried to run forward to take his 50-metre penalty. He got about 25 metres and he's collapsed. So the knee and the kidneys, I think, were really stung. He's trying to stay out there. but you certainly hope that there's no sort of internal damage there. He's going to go forward.
No, that's a good effort.
No, the trainer's dragging him off. Said, nah, you can't go forward. You've got to get off here.
Logan Young kicking that goal. He started really quickly. He up to 18 touches. Liam Reedy getting back in defence, needed to take that mark. He was the height for Frankston, wasn't able to take the mark, and Logan Young capitalised. Breathe life back into this game a little bit.
Need to breathe some life back into poor Churgwin, because he's having a battle right now.
So there's a bit of an interesting one here. Is there an extra player on the
ground? No, he's gone on the ground.
Oh,
he's gone. The umpire was telling him he had to go forward for the 6-6-6, but someone else had fed forward for the Swans. There was already 6 there.
Yep.
So that's why the free kick's not paid against the Swans or the warning's not paid against the Swans for having 7, because it was an umpire instruction. Sinclair's back in the ruck and he wins that tap down. Newman takes it out of the middle, drives it towards half forward. How will it sit for Voss? He's got a very rude haircut there as Voss, as he kicks inside 50.
Stern.
And here's Stern front and centre, Bragg down, great tackle, still a chance, Begley. That would have been spectacular from the Dolphins. They're still in here. Begley snaps it around at the 3rd time of asking and gets the quick reply for Frankston.
Was that McLaughlin on the back trying a Stevie J goal from off his back?
I think he's got Toby Green's done that a fair bit too, I reckon. But yeah, they had about 4 goes at it there, Frankston, before the goal was finally kicked by Josh Begley, his first of the night. And Frankston goes to 9:17.71, Sydney 6:7.43, 18 minutes gone, final quarter. Ray White, Frankston scoreboard.
And Jackson Voss kicking that ball inside 50. He hasn't had a whole lot of the ball, but I feel like he's had a pretty good game, Mick.
Yeah,
outside.
and what he does have is he's got good poise with the football in his hand. We saw him take
particularly in the
sort
contest.
of a split step then and almost stop to assess his options. It's almost that Penderbury-like stuff where the players automatically give him space, and well done. He's progressing nicely into his first VFL season.
And yeah, his haircut definitely noteworthy, Brendan.
So as soon as the Swans had life breathed back into them, they're flatlining again at the moment. They're on life support. Can Sinclair help them out? It's down to Newman, who fights tooth and nail to get through. He's found Mitch Cox, who camps underneath the ball. He can go. He has to evade a tackle. Twists, turns, steps around. He's got a man free forward, 50, over the back. Still not able to be taken, though, by Blake O'Leary this time. Out the back, Voss, snap on goal. In fact, goes wider. It's more of a set-up kick. Brought to ground. Chance for the Mosquito Fleet to get to work, but they can't do so. It's Stevens with a run-off half-back looking to rebound the Swans out of defence. And it's a good mark taken on centre wing as the Swans look to move forward. They've got to go quickly. In the middle is Thomas Boyd. In fact, it's Watts. Handball short. They're going to go long inside 50. They're looking for McLean. He's not where the ball landed. He's going to try and make it work, but he can't do so. Too many Frankston numbers. I think they're going to escape from defence here, and they are. Long down the line, but not for long, as the mark is taken just inside the field of play from Tyler Watts.
There's some tired players out there now. You can see the ball going back and forth. Sort of indiscriminate kicks at times. Stevens with the ball now.
Ryan Clark to Stevens it was. He went over the top to Maris, so he's been all right. Goes short, stepping around is Watts, knocked down by Arthurson. Tracks it towards the line. Cox lays the tackle. The umpire circles and sweeps the arms. They just have to pay one every now and again, don't they? They decided that Matthew Keast dived on the football. So the free kick goes to Frankston. And it was taken to Arthurson, who went back to Brolick. Dangerous kick here. Freeman had it knocked away from him. Hand pass back and a miss from point-blank range.
Carl Skeen.
Skeen should have kicked that goal in the end.
That's always the risk you have. Frankston trying to slow the ball down there. But kicking backwards and losing territory, it always puts extra pressure on the next kick. It was poor skill error. Shouldn't have taken that kick. Should have hit the target easily. I do notice they're persisting with Sinclair out here. I wonder if they might put him on ice, given his importance at AFL level as well.
Ball now into Mentha.
6:8:44 Sydney, 9:17.71 Frankston. Ray White, Frankston scoreboard, 21 minutes nearly.
Mentha chipping ball short. Now to the captain in Josh Newman. Had a decent game. Has the leader. Ball short now to Will Arthurson.
Up for position number 24 for Arthurson.
He goes back. Looking just to waste a little bit of time, perhaps, as Brolick keeps the ball inside his defensive 50. They're looking to open the game up. Handball over the top. Arthurson has to go back and find it. Won't do so. He's bailed out by his teammate. there in James Rendell. And they've got out of trouble just for the moment, but they've still got to clear the ball. They've got the ball in hand as they should look to go down the line through Brolick, who takes a bounce. Nice shepherd on the mark.
Oh.
Was it an illegal one, perhaps?
Yes.
Yes, it was. So it was overzealous, and the Swans have got a chance maybe now for a consolation goal as we're well into time on here in the fourth term.
His teammates have all pointed to say, oh, there's a report there too, I think. Umpire going for the book. And is that Rendell or Max Williams on the mark?
It's Rendell. He's being reported.
Yeah.
And
so
with a shot for goal.
Umpire saying it's a high shepherd there, and it's probably the furthest point from our vantage point. So
I didn't see it, so I can't make comment on it. But I'd say what'll happen is it should be a 50-metre penalty with a report being made.
I'm not sure if that's the case anymore because they didn't have possession. So I think it's just a straight free kick.
It's Kyle Skeen who's got it.
Yep.
Used to be a 50-metre penalty for
automatic 50 for a report if they changed that.
Yes, they have.
So left half forward goes towards the top of the square. Skeen has it got the journey.
He wishes
In
it
fact,
had have been a 50.
Yeah.
And it's out of bounds on the full.
It just shows the tiredness that's set in 22 minutes into the last quarter. There's a lot of fatigue everywhere. It's been a messy few minutes here. And Freeman with possession 38 then.
Chipped across.
39.
Frankston now on the verge of moving into the top 8 this late into the season. Who would have thought it? Imagine telling a Frankston fan that 5 years ago as Freeman takes a contested mark.
Number
they wouldn't have
40
believed you.
up.
Freeman's on for 40. He goes short. Marks to
telling
Connor
them-
Riley.
Imagine telling them 5 months ago.
Exactly. It's quite a remarkable rise for the Dolphins, who will take their spot in the top 8 tonight. Riley looks to go long down the line. Sinclair and Rendell. Massive mark over the top from Will Gold. Still hasn't got a chance at AFL level, but he won't be far off with marks like that. He goes long. No time to stand and admire. And he goes over the back. In the end, Frankston win out. Joe Lloyd. They're looking for the open side. Will they find it is the question. They've got runners on the far side. They've got the numbers.
Might be TV magic time for Will Gould.
That may well be mark of the day. Stolen at the 11th hour from Hayden McLean. Ball down the line is marked at the end by Blake O'Leary, who can just take time off the clock.
Frankston have got spare numbers on this near wing side, but it's going to take a hell of an effort as they switch the footy.
It heads all the way back from O'Leary to the defensive 50. And that's Lochnan who goes back to where it came.
Now's the time to pad your stats, get some short kicks here.
And that's exactly what's going on. That went 15.01 metres to Brolick, who takes the mark and of course when I say 15.01 I mean about 8.
Yeah.
As Rendell
Freeman
received, he goes across to Freeman.
Possession 42 on the way.
Just racks them up, doesn't he?
I think he's got 40 every week except last week against Collingwood when he got 27.
Short ball. and the mark's taken by Williams. They've had about 12 possessions and really gone nowhere, and Freeman wants it back again.
I'm not sure why I'm laughing, Brendan, but it's almost comical watching this last 5 minutes.
Long ball to the wing. Brand reaches over top. Man in front, McLaughlin. Probably got a hand over his shoulder. Mentha front and centre. Riley's going to be caught. He's going to be gone, and he threw it away. Great tackle for the Swans.
The advantage.
The advantage taken. It was Witherden who did that tackle. Clark goes short. Lochnan got a hand in there, brought it to ground. Still a chance for Frankston to break clear.
Freeman.
Guess who's got it again? Hand pass out wide to Newman. He goes around the wing. Here's a chance to jump for it for Reedy. Just over his head, misjudged it. And it's out of bounds for a boundary throw. And we don't even say his name now. We just say guess who.
And interesting, you look at Liam Reedy as the players reset there, his first AFL game, and he's been matched up against Caden Brand. What an introduction to VFL footy against an AFL calibre player.
It's inside out. Freeman, 42 disposals, 15 marks and a goal. Is he the best on ground? That's up for you to decide, because there's been some outstanding players out there tonight as the Swans go to the wings.
Just off hands of Nathan Freeman. Will he get the ball here? No, he won't. Nice pirouette there from Keast, as it's now with Dylan Clark. Nice 1-2. Stevens straight into the tackling pressure, out of the frying pan and into the fire. He was tackled, and the ball will be balled up 26 minutes gone, final term.
Just want to touch on Dylan Stevens. He's got a really unique move when he gets the football. He'll either go backwards with speed with his legs. He just finds space every time when he gets the ball.
Clark hacks the kick out of there when no one expected him to do so. Great attack on the ball. Goes back to Gould. Tries to look forward for the centre half forward there. Charging up with the ball was McLean. He overran it. Stevens looks to get himself camped underneath the ball. Should take the mark and does. Stops, props, and will look to go forward. Goes wider. Now looking for Keast. Will he latch onto the end of it? The answer is yes. Looks to set himself up, but the mark is taken. The intercept mark by Frankston defence.
Looks like Hiscock over there with the tape around his head. It's been a few weeks in a row he's come off with the blood rule, Hiscock, but he's done well tonight.
And he goes long down to the outer side. Big pack flies, and that's a terrific fly. And a big mark for Gould once more.
He's desperate for that Mark of the Day award.
He's got it penciled in for one of those two, you'd at least think, as the ball goes long. Offhand, tackle from behind. Was it disposed of correctly? The umpire says so. Handball on the outer side. Taken by Colin O'Regan. He's had a brilliant game in a losing cause. Ball stays in on the far side. Over the top of it, both sides trying to extract it out, but neither can do so at the moment. And it looks like it'll be balled up left half forward for the Swans. In fact, it may well be extracted out at the final hour. Swans players screaming for holding the ball, and it gets paid. So after all that, there's a free kick for the Swans and a shot on goal.
And we see in front of us Nathan Freeman not resting on his 42 possessions. He's desperate to get back on the ground.
Screaming at Austin Johnson. He's only been off for about 35 seconds.
And there's no way he's getting back on the ground unless there's a goal coming up. So
the ball's right over the other side, isn't it?
Fraser Maris looks to set it up to the top of the square, looking for McLean and Sinclair, the tall timber up there for the Swans. But neither of them will get there. And Frankston can look to break. They've got time and space, and they've got runners as well to go with that. Kick forward will be marked in the end by Blake O'Leary. They're screaming at him to go forward, the Frankston contingent. He goes to the outer side. Brady McLaughlin, they've got numbers streaming forward. Ash Cracker goes inside, marked again by O'Leary, who was integral earlier on. He's got the ball again, and the ball across is an absolute shocker.
And
they had so many numbers forward, and they couldn't find Mentha.
And that, Mick and Jonty, is an absolute classic case of stuffing around with the football.
Well, he could open up a butcher shop with the butchering he did with that one. But let's see if we can get a late goal here for Frankston. It's a 50-metre stoppage, but have we got Freeman back out in the ground? He's free at this stoppage.
A free man.
He is.
Free man at the stoppage is Freeman. It's not going to come to his side of the stoppage. Hand pass back into traffic. He would have been better off running it out. Riley goes up to full forward. Big pack flies. Ground level ball. And it's rushed across the line by Sam Witherden.
9-18 for the day for the Dolphins. Could have been a better result, but
only 4 of those rushed as well on my list. So they've kicked 14 behinds, and a lot of them gettable as the Swans bring it out of defence. 72 plays 44. It's a 28-point lead to Frankston as we tick towards half an hour into the last quarter. Ball around the wing. It's knocked away from Maris. Nicely done by the Dolphins defender there.
Loughnan.
It was Harry Loughnan or Loughnan? Harry Loughnan?
Loughnan.
Loughnan he goes with. Yeah. Okay, so that's a different pronunciation.
Yes, it is. And well, it's always good to see those efforts late in games.
Yeah, just not giving it away, even though you've got the game won. Getting to the front spot, backhanded nicely there by McCormack. Riley steps into the tackle and is gone. He took him on, was the decision. Ducked his head down and went as the Frankston Dolphins get the high fives. They have seen off the Sydney Swans.